Chapter 1 In the Name of My Mother. Madness Island, a place used to detain madmen and gods. Since its creation, no one has been able to escape from here for more than 200 years. Madmen can't, and gods can. Just because the 8 god killings on the island are so powerful that no one can compete with them. Those challengers who want to leave Madness Island have only 2 ends in the face of the island guards. First, you can take care of your own life, and lose the hope of leaving forever. Second, he was directly beaten to death and thrown into the sea to feed sharks. Some people who came here were framed and passively entered, and some committed shocking crimes in the outside world and took the initiative to come in for refuge. So there are no rules on the island. The rules of the island owner are the rules. This is a real lawful place. Xiao Fengxi grew up on Madness Island. He was the first and only person born on the island, and grew up smoothly. Today is her 18th birthday, and the whole island celebrates her birthday. Other people's lives on the island are full of life, and her life is like an ant, but she is a group favorite. The Killer Emperor, who ranked first on the world's killer list, held a soft sword as thin as a cicada's wing and handed it to Xiao Fengxi like a treasure. Girl, this is the weapon I have used for half my life, and it is also the token of the shadow killing organization. Take it out, and the world's largest killer organization is yours. An old lady with a golden crutch also came over and put an emerald wrench on Xiao Fengxi. She, this is the emerald wrench I have worn all my life, and now I also give it to you. This is the token of the God of Wealth group. If you take her, the God of Wealth group is yours. I don't know how many billions. Anyway, you should remember that with the God of Fortune group, you are the richest person in the world. Also, Don. Listen to the old killer. How dangerous it is to fight and kill. If you can solve things with money, you can smash it with money. People who queue up to give birthday gifts can go around Crazy God Island 3 times, and Xiao Fengxi is soft-handed when receiving gifts. Well, why Godfather gave my precious daughter the last gift. From today on, you are the only person in the world who can freely enter and exit Madness Island, and you are also the only designated heir of Madness Island. Finally, the owner of Mad God Island said something, and the audience was in an uproar. But it's right to think about it. The world is so big that you should let Miss Fengxi take a look. There was a light in Xiao Fengxi's eyes. She had long wanted to leave. Because what she is carrying is her mother's deep blood feud. The mother said that her scumbag father's name was Xiao Jushin, who was the helmsman of the first family in the magic capital. During her mother's pregnancy, Xiao Jushin's cheating was discovered by his mother. Afraid that the scandal would be exposed, Xiao Jushin actually had the heart to kill. My mother almost died several times, and finally escaped to Madness Island by chance. At that time, the island owner of Mad God Island happened to be practicing martial arts and fell into a coma. When he spit out a mouthful of blood. Xiao Fengxi's mother is a goddess doctor, who saved the owner of Mad God Island. In exchange, Xiao Fengxi was able to grow up safely on Crazy God Island. However, his mother died of melancholy 5 years after giving birth to Xiao Fengxi. Before his mother died, he told Xiao Fengxi that he Street take revenge if he had the opportunity. The woman whose scumbag father cheated on her is called Yu Yan. This woman also helped Xiao Jushin chase and kill her mother for a long time. In addition, my mother has a good best friend. My mother once promised that if she gave birth to a daughter, she would marry her best friend's son, Li Jinyan. When Xiao Fengxi was born, Li Jinyan was 5 years old. Mother is Xiao Fengxi's everything, and she must avenge her mother. As for that Li Jinyan, let's take a look. According to the time, Li Jinyan should be old now, and maybe the child will be able to play soy sauce. This is her own private matter. In addition, the personal enmity of some old guys on the island also needs to be solved. With everything he could take away, Xiao Fengxi left the Crazy Island, which he had been in for 18 years. The first thing that landed was that Xiao Fengxi directly hacked Xiao Jushin's private account. At this moment, Xiao Jushin was in a meeting, and the picture of the projection equipment connected to his notebook directly turned into Xiao Fengxi. The senior executives of the company were stunned, and Xiao Jushin was also shocked. The girl in the picture is so similar to that woman. Xiao Jushin, have you forgotten all the bad things you have done? I, Xiao Fengxi, am back, and I will destroy your Xiao family in the name of my mother. After saying that, Xiao Fengxi hung up the video directly. The meeting is over. Xiao Jushin was not in the mood to have a meeting, so he hurried home by car. He knew that Su Nianqi, who was pregnant that year, escaped to Mad God Island. But how can she, a pregnant woman, survive on the island? And no one has been able to escape from Madness Island since its establishment. This Xiao Fengxi is Su Nianqi, and her own child. How could she come out of the Crazy Island? There was a ghost in his heart, and the more Xiao Jushin thought about it, the more afraid he became. He took out his mobile phone, and called the first master of the Xiao family. Uncle Jian, gather all the warriors of the Xiao family. I have an enemy to visit. In a word, the Who. La Demon City fell into the calm before the storm. Chapter 2. The girl carrying a coffin. Master Li, the road ahead is blocked. In front of a Rolls-Royce, the housekeeper reported in a low voice. The man in the car is tall, and wears an ink-colored suit, with the pressure of the superior. Hit it. Li Jinyan looked down at the mobile phone in his hand, and spit out 3 words gently. In the magic capital, no one dares to stand in his way. But the housekeeper was in trouble. Because it was the Xiao family who blocked the road. Is it the Xiao family? Seeing that the housekeeper was embarrassed, Li Jinyan guessed it. Because only the Xiao family can make him have some scruples in Modu. The housekeeper nodded and said, I went to ask, and the people of the Xiao family said that the Xiao family had an enemy coming to the door. All the children of the Xiao family had returned to the defense capital. Li Jinyan put down his mobile phone when he heard the words, and his eyes flashed with curiosity. It can make such a giant like the Xiao family so cautious. This enemy family should come from a lot. Could it be? Is it related to the person who came out of Crazy God Island? Li Jinyan remembered the information he had just seen on the dark web. There is no air permeable wall in the world. Xiao Fengxi left the Madness Island with his front foot, and the world outside his back foot was boiling. After all, this is also a big news. Just that people only know one person from Mad God Island, and they don't know Xiao Fengxi's detailed information. If someone helps me find trouble for the Xiao family, I want to take a good look at the excitement. Li Jinyan's pair of phoenix eyes flashed playfully and ordered the housekeeper to take a detour. Lis group and Xiao's group are the 2 top families in Modu. However, Xiao's group developed relatively early, so it has a relatively strong foundation. After Li Jinyan took over Li's group, he worked against Xiao's group, but he didn't take much advantage for so many years. Yes. The housekeeper agreed and directly ordered the driver to go to a cafe on the street. The huge floor-to-ceiling window of the cafe can clearly see the situation outside, and you can see it at the first time when the enemy of the Xiao family comes. The market is cleared, and I will pay for all your consumption. The housekeeper walked into the cafe and shouted directly to clear the room. When the guests inside saw several bodyguards in black with guns, they quickly left. After all the guests inside were clean, Li Jinyan got out of the car and walked into the cafe. The bodyguard threw a pile of banknotes directly in front of the cafe clerk, asking them to stay in the back kitchen, so as not to be in the way. The bodyguard was familiar with the road, and soon brought a cup of coffee to Li Jinyan. Master, coffee. Li Jinyan gently stirred the coffee in the cup with a coffee spoon, but his eyes were staring at the street outside the window. Suddenly, his eyes lit up, and a figure appeared in his sight. It was a girl with a bumpy figure. Her small face was tight, and her murderous spirit was quite scary. Xiao Fengxi carried a black coffin. She came to kill her scumbag Xiao Jushin. Everyone be on alert. In front of the Xiao family, all the warriors were in strict array. However, when they saw a girl carrying a coffin, some people inevitably looked down on her. Women are weak by nature, that is, their natural strength is not as good as that of men. And when martial arts says, 1. Force reduces 10 wisdom. Fancy skills are often overwhelming in the face of absolute power. Not to mention others, even the eyes of the old sword of the Xiao family flashed with strong disdain. The old man is this year old. He has never lost since he went down the mountain to La Arnart at the age of 18. He only uses a sword to kill people. So there is the nickname of Sword One Blade. If he hadn't found the existence of Mad God Island, he would have wanted to challenge the legendary 8 island guards. Xiao Jushin was nervous and made him wait for the Enemies family from Madness Island for a long time. It turned out to be a yellow-haired girl. It's not fake to carry a coffin, but after all, she is a woman. In the heart of a sword blade, women are just a man's plaything. Go to 2 people, I want that woman to die 500 meters away from the Xiao family. The sword is holding a bronze sword, and the voice is also lazy. Sending 2 people to kill the woman was his greatest awe of Madness Island. Yes. The 2 children of the Xiao family agreed and rushed to Xiao Fengxi with weapons. They were excited, and it was time to recognize X as a merit. Xiao Fengxi looked at the 2 people rushing towards him aggressively, and his eyes flashed with disdain. But the old monsters on the Mad God Island taught her that it is the first taboo for martial arts to underestimate the enemy. Even if you have a 100% chance of winning, you should do your best to put the opponent to death in the shortest time. However, she really has no desire to deal with these 2 little Karas. The premise of not to underestimate the enemy is that the other party is qualified to be your enemy. Those who offend my Xiao family die. The 2 children of the Xiao family came to Xiao Fengxi 10 meters in front of him. At the same time, they showed their weapons and slashed at Xiao Fengxi's head. Li Jinyan in the cafe in the distance looked at him with a mistake. Seeing that the girl didn't look at the two children of the Xiao family, Li Jinyan smiled at the corner of his mouth. Interesting. Chapter 3 being held on the neck with a knife by the little wife. Get out of here. When the knife in the hands of the Xiao family's children was about to fall, Xiao Fengxi suddenly shouted. The rolling momentum was like a big mountain pressing on the two people, directly making the two people fall in the air on the spot. Not only that, the two of them each spit a mouthful of blood and fainted directly. And Xiao Fengxi still walked slowly carrying the coffin, as if the god was unstoppable. This aroused the interest of the sword blade, and his slanted body was slightly straight. Beidezhua, you can meet her when you go. Beidezhua is a personal disciple of the sword blade, and the kendo realm has reached the level of 80% of the sword blade. Yes, master. Beidezhua didn't say much. He used a manganese steel sword with a thick body, and a big opening and closing routine. Walking towards Xiao Fengxi, Beidezhua drew his sword out of the sheath 10 steps away from Xiao Fengxi. In an instant, a strong wind pressed down on Xiao Fengxi with a murderous SP. Die. Beidezhua shouted with a hurrying voice like a beast. Oh. Xiao Fengxi sneered. This guy is not bad. At least the two just now are a little stronger. His left hand was still holding the coffin, and Xiao Fengxi's right hand quickly crossed his waist. A silver light flashed, and Beidezhua's manganese steel sword was directly broken into 2 pieces. A red mark also appeared on Beidezhua's throat. He fell to the ground, and the light in his eyes gradually disappeared. The sword stood up on the chair in shock, staring at Beidezhua's head to the ground, and cried for his life. He only saw a touch of silver light just now, and he didn't even see any weapons used by Xiao Fengxi. In the cafe, Li Jinyan looked at the old housekeeper beside him. Uncle Fu, have you seen it clearly? Fubo is the 6th sea god needle of the Li family, and he is also the person in the highest level of martial arts in the Li family except for Li Jinyan. I didn't see it clearly, but it should be a soft weapon. Uncle Fu said truthfully. I want this woman. Li Jinyan smiled more and became more interested in Xiao Fengxi. But young master, you have a marriage contract. Didn't the lady always say that she would find that girl? Uncle Fu reminded, but this was also the first time he had seen the young master interested in a girl. You know, in addition to the wife, the second young grandmother and the young lady, even the cleaning of the family is full of men. The young master was even suspected of having a problem with his sexual orientation, but he just hated women approaching him, which was born. It seems to be called phobia of women. I don't know whether the girl my mother mentioned existed or not. Maybe she was never born. Li Jinyan looked at Xiao Fengxi outside the window and said, besides, even if that girl is alive, we don't have any feelings, and I can marry a doll. Ding-ling-ling. Li Jinyan was talking when his mobile phone suddenly rang. Master, a large number of special policemen rushed to the vicinity of Xiao's house. The subordinates were talking about the situation, and Li Jinyan showed contempt on his face. Xiao Jushin, an old bastard, is so cowardly. Looking at the girl carrying the coffin again, Li Jinyan stood up. Go, follow me to save people. This is not the era of cold weapons, nor is it an illegal place like Madness Island. If she is really surrounded by the special police, this woman is finished. Baby, if you take another step forward, I'm going to take action. The momentum of the sword's whole body exploded, and the attitude towards Xiao Fengxi changed from the strong disdain at the beginning to the fear now. Where is Xiao Jushin? This is the coffin I gave him. Xiao Fengxi drank, and the small figure carried a huge coffin, which looked extremely domineering. I'm here. Suddenly, Xiao Jushin walked out behind the sword blade. He looked at Xiao Fengxi and thought of Su Nianji's voice and smiled. Just as Xiao Fengxi was about to open his mouth, the engine roared behind him, and the siren sounded in all directions in an instant. Xiao Jushin showed a treacherous smile, and looked at Xiao Fengxi playfully. It's as stupid as your silly mother. Don't ask me for revenge, just stay in prison for the rest of your life. Ha ha ha. Xiao Jushin laughed wildly, and the sound of the police siren gave him great confidence. Xiao Fengxi's sight had flashing police lights in the distance, and she suddenly regretted it. No wonder the old monsters on Mad God Island say that the people on land are more cunning than each other. It seems that I think things are simple. However, Xiao Jushin is too naive to want to catch himself with these police forces. Xiao Fengxi's right hand touched his waist, and was ready to start killing. At the very least, Xiao Jushin should be killed. But in front of the police car, a black Rolls Royce rushed to her. The car drifted handsomely, and the co-driver's door suddenly opened. Li Jinyan sat in the driver's seat, and shouted at Xiao Fengxi. Let's go. It's not worth risking your life for the scum. A sentence made Xiao Fengxi wake up. My life was given by my mother. It's really not worth it to accompany Xiao Jushin to be buried. So the next second, Xiao Fengxi smashed the big coffin he was carrying at Xiao Jushin. Your life. I will definitely take it. After saying that, Xiao Fengxi jumped on the Rolls Royce. But after getting on the bus, she had an extra dagger in her hand. The dagger was a blue blade, which was put on Li Jinyan's neck. This knife is poisonous. Don't play tricks if you don't want to die. She doesn't know this man, so she naturally needs to be more wary. Chapter 4. Enter the cave first. You are a little bit of revenge. Li Jin was speechless. It was the first time that someone held his neck with a knife. Stop talking nonsense. Xiao Fengxi was cold and took a look at the situation behind from the rearview mirror. Police cars are overwhelming, but the streets are so wide that several Rolls Royces block the road tightly, and the police cars can catch up at all. Only then did she make sure that the man really wanted to save herself, and took back the knife. Why did you save me? Xiao Fengxi asked. Because you have successfully attracted my attention. Li Jinyan answered. At this time, several police cars appeared in front of him, and Li Jinyan stepped on the accelerator directly. Even if Xiao Fengxi saw a lot of storms and waves, he didn't want to see a madman like Li Jinyan. Subconsciously, Xiao Fengxi's body tightened. In the end, the police car was cowardly and hit the direction. And the expression on Li Jinyan's face was always cold, as if nothing had happened just now. Half an hour later, the car stopped in front of a mountaintop manor. Let's sit at my house. Li Jinyan got out of the car, and went to open the door for Xiao Fengxi. At this time, a red Porsche happened to come, and Li Jinyan's mother and sister got off the car. When Zhong Tao saw her son bringing back a girl, she couldn't help rubbing her eyes. Li Nuanyang opened his mouth wide in surprise when he saw Xiao Fengxi beside his brother. Brother, you are. Rushing to Li Jinyan at the first time, Li Nuanyang looked at Xiao Fengxi with wariness in his eyes. His brother is young, handsome and rich. He is the male god in the hearts of all girls in the whole demon capital. Not to mention a young woman can become a little fangirl in an instant when she sees his brother. This woman is so talented that she can be brought home by his brother, who is never close to women. Mom. Li Jinyan ignored his clingy little sister, but looked at his mother. Zhong Tao saw Xiao Fengxi's face clearly and fell into memories in an instant. This girl looks exactly like her best friend Su Nianji. Girl, what's your name? As the mistress of the Li family, Zhong Tao was a little out of place at this moment. Xiao Fengxi frowned and remained wary of these people. I am leaving. I wrote down your favor. After saying a word to Li Jinyan, Xiao Fengxi turned around and left. She still had a lot of things to do. Wait. Girl, do you know Su Nianji? Zhong Taosheng was afraid of missing something, so he asked loudly. Xiao Fengxi's steps stopped in an instant, and even Li Jinyan was stunned. He has heard the name Su Nianji since he was a child, which seems to be the name of his mother-in-law he has never met. Do you know Su Nianji? Xiao Fengxi turned around and didn't expect to meet someone who knew his mother, as soon as he left the island. Of course I know. That's my best friend. Zhong Tao already thought from the bottom of her heart that Xiao Fengxi was the daughter of her best friend, so she quickly explained. Now it was Xiao Fengxi's turn to be shocked. She looked at Zhong Tao doubtfully, thinking that it would not be such a coincidence. Are you her daughter? Is it called Fengxi? Zhong Tao's eyes turned red, and he came over and grabbed Xiao Fengxi's hand. Xiao Fengxi felt numb all over. I'm afraid he didn't dare to write such a coincidence in a novel. I'm Su Nian's daughter. My name is Xiao Fengxi. You are Aunt Zhong Tao. Yes. I'm your Aunt Zhong Tao. Where is your mother? How is she? Zhong Tao was so excited that she even looked around. She has already passed away. Xiao Fengxi sighed and said. Zhong Tao's heart suddenly tightened, although she had vaguely guessed that her best friend was no longer alive. But after all, there is no confirmation, and she still has a glimmer of hope. From then on, Aunt Zhong Tao will be your mother. Giving Xiao Fengxi a big hug, Zhong Tao said loudly. Then, Zhong Tao's eyes glared at her son fiercely. Silly boy. Why are you still in a daze? This is what my mother told you, your fiancé Xiao Fengxi. Li Jinyan's face turned red when he said a fiancé. Oh, this bastard, he usually looks like a domineering president. Why does he blush at the critical moment? Seeing that her son didn't speak, Zhong Tao laughed and scolded. Xiao Fengxi was so good at Li Jinyan that he looked at the man's face a few more times. This guy is so good looking. What a fiancé, what Xiao Fengxi. Mom, you are too hasty. Li Nuanyang jumped up at this time, destroying the warm atmosphere that had just begun. Yang, don't be presumptuous. Zhong Tao quickly scolded, but Li Nuanyang was spoiled. How could he listen? She came to Xiao Fengxi and raised her hand to push Xiao Fengxi's shoulder. But how could she meet Xiao Fengxi? Turning around deftly, Xiao Fengxi dodged Li Nuanyang's hand. Young people, Don. TB2 Erig. Xiao Fengxi's face sank in an instant, but he didn't attack because of Zhong Tao's face. Nonsense. Don't you call young people? Li Nuanyang wanted to take action again, but his whole body was carried up by the back of his neck collar. She was in the air, kicking her hands and feet, like a little turtle biting the fishing line. That's your sister-in-law. Don. TB big or small, or I'll spank you. Li Jinyan warned in a low voice. Zhong Tao was more direct, pulling his son in one hand and Xiao Fengxi in the other hand to walk to the mountaintop manor. Oh, this is the first time you two have met, and you two should take your time, so you two go into the cave first. Chapter 5. My daughter-in-law is so tight. Knowing that it was Li Jinyan who saved him, Xiao Fengxi felt that the world was really amazing. However, although there is a mother's last wish, it is impossible for her to enter the cave at the first meeting. It's just that we have arrived at the door of my mother-in-law's house, and it's impossible not to go in and have a look. The servants in the manor opened the door and invited the young master's wife and young lady into the manor. All the servants didn't know Xiao Fengxi, but when the lady had been holding the girl's hand, they knew that she was a distinguished guest of the Li family. Xiao Fengxi grew up on Crazy God Island, and the architectural style on Crazy God Island is completely different from that outside. So after entering the manor, she couldn't help looking left and right, like a curious baby. Especially entering the interior of the manor, it can be described as golden splendor. Li Nuanyang looked at Xiao Fengxi like that and directly regarded Xiao Fengxi as a local man who had never seen the world. Cha, you haven't seen it, have you? Don't touch things randomly. If it's broken, you can afford to compensate. Li Nuanyang said strangely, and Li Nuanyang sat directly on the sofa. She looked at Zhong Tao dissatisfiedly and tried to convince her mother. Mom, you don't even know what she comes from. Just because she said that she was my Aunt Neonce's daughter, she is. Now the plastic surgery skills are so high, and my brother is so excellent that there are so many people who pay attention to him. If someone finds Aunt Neonce's photo for plastic surgery, then my brother will lose a lot. Zhong Tao's face has become more and more ugly. If she hadn't been such a daughter, and her daughter also suffered from a serious congenital disease, she would have slapped her long ago. Shut up. Finally, entered Zhong Tao scolding, Li Nuanyang directly went upstairs. Xiao Fengxi's attitude towards this future sister-in-law is very disdained. After all, a little girl is really serious. She makes this girl kneel down to her every minute. On the contrary, Aunt Zhong Tao made Xiao Fengxi feel a long-lost maternal love. There are some monsters on Madness Island. Since her mother's death, no one has been able to give her a trace of maternal love. This is what Xiao Fengxi lacks most. Well, I'll ask the housekeeper to arrange a room for you, and you can stay at home. Don. Listen to the girl Nuanyang. This will be your home in the future. Even if you touch something bad, let's buy a new one. My stupid son can't do anything else. He still has the hand to make money. Zhong Tao took Xiao Fengxi's hand and said with concern, and praised his son by the way. He is good at driving. Xiao Fengxi looked at Li Jinyan and added. The bulky large car of Rolls-Royce forced Li Jinyan to become a racing car. All kinds of elegant bends almost made her motion sickness. Ha ha ha, if you Avenue more contact with Dongfang in the future, you will find more advantages of him. Zhong Tao smiled cheerfully, and the housekeeper rushed in at this time. Looking at Li Jinyan, the housekeeper gave him a jink. Li Jinyan stepped aside and roughly guessed something. Young master, He Xiao family came with a police car. Sure enough, it's Xiao Jushin, the old bastard. If this guy can't catch Xiao Fengxi's words, I am afraid he will have insomnia every night in the future. Go. Li Jinyan walked out of the manor directly, and there was a large police car outside the manor. Xiao Jushin smoked a cigar and looked at Li Jinyan with helpless hatred. There is nothing we can do. This boy is young and courageous, and the industries that Lis Group is involved in are also the cutting-edge industries that are now famous. In the whole Demon City, this boy is the most difficult to deal with. This is not the owner of the Xiao family. Bring so many people to my Lis house. What's the matter? Li Jinyan was cold, and his hands were put in the pockets of his suit, with a kind of momentum to rule the world. The police comrade is arresting a murder suspect. Now the suspect is in your Li's house. If you know the fun, hand it over quickly. Xiao Jushin swallowed the clouds and said, ha ha, you said you were there. You can search if you want to. What is my Li family? What is Li Jinyan, when I am? He lowered his head and sorted out his handsome suit, and Li Jinyan's words were full of strong disdain and domineering. Li Jinyan, we are arresting the murder suspect, and you have the obligation to cooperate with us. At this time, the deputy director of the police station in the Demon City stood up with an arrogant attitude. Li Jinyan still looked like he loved and asked the deputy director. Well, I'll cooperate, but if I can find the suspect you mentioned in my Li family, all the industries of the Li family in the magic capital will be removed. Search. After saying that, Li Jinyan gave way directly. But the deputy director hesitated. Don't be sure that the murder suspect is in Li's house now. Even if you go in and catch people, the price will be too high. Li Jinyan never talks big. He said that if the Li family would withdraw from the magic capital, he would really withdraw. At that time, when the economy of Modu declines, and the number of laid-offs will skyrocket, I'm afraid that the superiors will directly blame themselves. It's not cost-effective. But the words have been said, and they have given way. If they don't search, they can come down to the stage. The deputy director looked left and right, and a confidant immediately ran over. Deputy, a police officer just called, and said that the suspect was found in the North City. One sentence solved the embarrassment of the deputy director, and the police car retreated like a tide. Li Jinyan looked at Xiao Jushin and spoke provocatively. Master Xiao, oh no, maybe I should call you father-in-law? Be careful when you sleep at night in the future. Don. Lose your head when you sleep. My daughter-in-law is so tight. Chapter 6. Hello. Are you blind? Hearing Li Jinyan's words, Xiao Jushin was as disgusted as eating a fly. If it hadn't been for Su Niance's best friend Zhong Tao, who found a good husband, he would have even dealt with Zhong Tao. But now it's too late to say anything, and only the soldiers can come to block it. Fortunately, Sayao's group has made contact with the world's top consortium these days. If they can get the support of the God of Fortune group, the Xiao family can take off in the shortest time. Moreover, since he knows that it is Xiao Fengxi who came to kill him, he can also hire a killer to do it secretly. Shadow Killing Organization is the world's top killer organization. As long as you are willing to spend money, there is no one you can't kill. Humph. The sky is high and the road is far. Let's come to Japan for a long time. Xiao Jushin left in embarrassment with a harsh word that was not a harsh word. At this time, it was already lunchtime. Zhong Tao had been pulling Xiao Fengxi to ask about Su Nianqi, as if he had something to say. When the meal was served, the Li family gathered together. Li Jinya's mother is Zhong Tao, his younger sister Li Nuanyang, his younger brother Li Jinjia, and his younger brother-in-law Tang Susu. There is no doubt that today's protagonist is Xiao Fengxi. Zhong Tao kept picking food for Xiao Fengxi, and Li Nuanyang rolled his eyes vigorously. Li Jinjia also secretly looked at his future sister-in-law from time to time, feeling that she was a little different from those little girls outside. There is an ain't domineering in the corners of his eyes and eyebrows. Moreover, his eldest brother is 23 years old, and the little girl looks only 18 years old. This is a bit like an old cow eating young grass. Tang Susu and Li Jinjia have not reached the legal age, but they have held a wedding and become the nominal second young grandmother of the Li family. When I first came to the Li family, my mother-in-law was not as enthusiastic as she is now. And although she married Li Jinjia, what she actually likes is Li Jinyan. However, because Li Jinyan was really not CLOs to women, she didn't see any chance at all, so she took down Li Jinyan's younger brother. She became Li Jinyan's younger brother-in-law, and she had more opportunities to contact Li Jinyan. Now when she saw Xiao Fengxi sitting next to Li Jinyan, she only felt jealous. It's not that she doesn't get close to women. It's not that she has a phobia of women. How can this woman get close to him? The envy, jealousy and hatred in his heart turned upside down, and Tang Susu's face was still that gentle. She noticed the way her sister-in-law Li Nuanyang looked at Xiao Fengxi, and she had a plan in her heart. Xiao Fengxi is the favorite of the Crazy God Island, and the strength of the Crazy God Island is respected. Everything is solved face to face, and no one has any conspiracy with you. So after a meal, she only felt the enthusiasm of the Li family for her. Of course, except for the future sister-in-law Li Nuanyang. The overall feeling is very warm. Maybe this is the feeling of home. In the evening, Xiao Fengxi will not really have sex with Li Jinyan. Although the man saved himself in the morning, he said that he aroused his interest. So can other women casually attract his attention? This point needs to be investigated. The night was deep, and Xiao Fengxi was about to go to bed when there was a sudden knock on the door. Opening the door, it was Tang Susu, the second young grandmother of the Li family. Can I come in? Tang Susu asked with a smile. Although Xiao Fengxi has no bad impression of Tang Susu, he doesn't have a good impression. What's the matter? Xiao Fengxi's voice was cold, which made Tang Susu a little embarrassed. Oh, we will be a family in the future. I want to come and talk to you. Tang Susu also raised her hand to let Xiao Fengxi see the fruit plate in her hand. Oh, I'm tired. I want to rest. Let us do it tomorrow. Xiao Fengxi also needs to contact the person in charge of the God of Wealth group and the resources given to her by some big monsters. There is no time to gossip with Tang Susu. Besides, she is not sure whether to marry Li Jinyan or not, and whether she will be a family in the future. Oh, then you are busy. If you need any help from me, feel free to ask. Tang Susu didn't insist either. He smiled and said something and turned away. However, after turning around, the smile on her face disappeared, replaced by eyes full of resentment and jealousy. Humph, this is the young grandmother of the Li family, who has not yet begun to pretend. If she really married Li Jinyan, this woman would not have her nostrils to the sky. While thinking about it, the door of Li Nuanyang's room suddenly opened. Second sister-in-law, you are. Seeing the fruit plate in Tang Susu's hand, Li Nuanyang looked at the direction of Xiao Fengxi's room again. Oh, I sent a fruit plate to your future sister-in-law, but they didn't let me in. I think I was self-indulgent. Do you think there is any conspiracy for her to emerge out of thin air? Tang Susu observed Li Nuanyang's expression. The little girl's cheeks immediately bulged with a displeased face. I don't want such a sister-in-law. Anyway, I just think this person is very unusual. Li Nuanyang is very angry. I feel that my mother and elder brother are a little abnormal today. However, at this time, Xiao Fengxi happened to go out to get some certificates. After all, she came from Crazy God Island and had no legal identity in the outside world. Unexpectedly, as soon as I went out, I heard Tang Susu and Li Nuanyang saying bad things about themselves. This made Xiao Fengxi suddenly disgusted with Tang Susu, who seemed harmless to humans and animals. This kind of scheming person is much more sinister than Li Nuanyang, who writes any emotion on his face. But again, Xiao Fengxi didn't care about them at all. Without paying attention to these two people, Xiao Fengxi walked out of the door with his long legs. When passing by Tang Susu, who was in the way, Xiao Fengxi directly knocked the person away. At this time, the fruit plate in Tang Susu's hand fell to the ground, and the person also fell to the ground. When Li Nuanyang saw this, he was directly furious. Hello? Are you blind? Stop for me. Chapter 7 Sister-in-law's Help. Xiao Fengxi stopped walking out and turned around. The air pressure around her dropped in an instant, which made Li Nuanyang couldn't help shivering. You bumped into my second sister-in-law. Apologize. Although he was afraid from the bottom of his heart, this was his own territory. Li Nuanyang still pointed to Xiao Fengxi and ordered. No, it's all a family. Why don't apologize? Tang Susu said, but squatted on the ground and didn't stand up. I also pressed the dragon fruit in my hand, and the red juice in my hand seemed to be bleeding. What's the matter? Hearing Li Nuanyang's shout, Li Jinjia and Zhong Tao came out. Li Jinyan went to the company to deal with things, so he was not at home. Mom, it's okay. It's just that phone she touched me, and I didn't stand firmly and fell down. It's okay. Tang Susu was sure that her mother-in-law saw her fall to the ground, so she began to get up. However, her image in Xiao Fengxi's heart has been labeled with green tea and white lotus. So Xiao Fengxi knows her intention when she comes out now. It didn't break, did it? The corridor of our house is so wide that it shouldn't have been hit. Li Jinjia came over and helped his wife up, and Tang Susu's hand inadvertently dodged. Zhong Tao naturally saw this small detail, and a layer of frost suddenly appeared on her face. Someone just aimed at the second sister-in-law and hit it. It has nothing to do with the width of the corridor. The second sister-in-law kindly sent her fruit, but she still closed her eyes and bumped into people. Li Nuanyang took Zhong Tao's hand and pointed to Xiao Fengxi and said, if you point at me again, believe it or not, I will give you your finger. Xiao Fengxi is not used to the warm sun at all. And you, give me your little thoughts in the future. I'm not something you can mess with, otherwise, you have a place to cry. Looking at Tang Susu again, Xiao Fengxi warned him sternly. Finally, she looked at Zhong Tao and said softly, Auntie, I have a bad temper, so I should live alone. If I leave, I cause you any trouble? Xiao Fengxi decided to go out to find a place to live. After all, there were a lot of people and things. She didn't have time to play with Li Nuanyang, a brat, and Tang Susu, a scheming bitch. No, it's just a little friction. Auntie believes it. It's not your fault. Zhong Tao quickly shook off his daughter and took Xiao Fengxi's hand. Her stupid son has not let other girls get close to half for more than 20 years. Today, it's hard to let Xiao Fengxi approach, and it's also the baby kiss that she and her late best friend once made. She can't let her daughter-in-law go. Of course, I don't blame her. The road is so wide that Tang Susu was hit by Xiao Fengxi. If she bumps into you, you won't dodge. Who did you show it to if you were hit on purpose? An old voice sounded, and an old lady appeared on the third floor. Everything just now was seen by the old lady. It was indeed Tang Susu and Li Nuanyang, who said bad things behind their backs, that made her angry. Grandma, what do you know? When Li Nuanyang saw the old lady, he stamped her feet and spoiled her. The old lady gave her granddaughter a blank look, and jumped down on the third floor. Xiao Feng's eyes lit up, but he didn't expect that the old lady was still a family practicer. It's just that the old lady's kung fu is limited to the category of tripod cats. What do I know? I know that big and small trees have tops. Don. Think too highly of yourself. When she came to her granddaughter, the old lady directly gave her granddaughter a blow. Li Nuanyang grimaced in pain, but he didn't dare to talk back to his grandmother. Mom didn't want to hit her, but Grandma caught her, but she really beat her. It is said that they are close to each other, but his grandmother has been strict with her since she was a child. Grandma. Tang Susu's face was red and her ears were red by what the old lady had just said, but her cleverness was that she could not be sophistry. Because sometimes the more you explain, the more guilty you are. All on, no one will blame this matter. Stop it. The old lady didn't bother to look at Tang Susu, but looked at her second grandson with a little distress. Stupid child, marrying a wife is equivalent to not marrying. If you want to blame, you can only blame the eldest grandson for being so perfect. A woman will be conquered by Li Jinyan's prosperous face and imperial temperament. It can't be just like this. She must apologize to my second sister-in-law. Li Nuanyang stopped working. She felt that if this matter was over, Xiao Fengxi would completely leave the house in the future. Just that she was in a hurry, and suffered from a congenital disease, which made her faint as soon as her eyes went dark. Xiao Fengxi was the first to notice something wrong, and grabbed Li Nuanyang's fallen body. Call the doctor. Zhong Tao was also in a panic, and quickly asked the housekeeper to call the private doctor of the Li family. It's too late. Xiao Fengxi said, and directly flattened Li Nuanyang's body. Then she stretched out her white jade hand, and connected several acupuncture points on Li Nuanyang's body. The operation directly stunned everyone and didn't know what Xiao Fengxi was doing. But by the time the family doctor of the Li family arrived, Li Nuanyang had returned to normal. Although she was in a coma just now, she regained consciousness halfway. Xiao Fengxi only had a few acupuncture points, and her body returned to norm. As soon as possible, which really shocked Li Nuanyang. When the doctor finished the examination, they also showed shocked expressions. Xiao Fengxi saw that Li Nuanyang was fine, turned around and walked out of the door. Just that as soon as her hand touched the doorknob, there was a thud behind her. Li Nuanyang knelt directly behind Xiao Fengxi, and hugged Xiao Fengxi's thigh. Sister-in-law. Help. Chapter 8. The fist is better than the mouth. Xiao Fengxi didn't expect that Li Nuanyang would come. Just now, he shouted to apologize to himself, and knelt down to himself in a blink of an eye. I took action for the face of Aunt Zhong Tao. It's not that I'm kind-hearted, and I'm not that bad. After a sentence, Xiao Fengxi directly shook off Li Nuanyang. Fengxi, be careful when you go out at night. Zhong Tao didn't stop him, but just told him from behind. Xiao Fengxi nodded and waved goodbye to Zhong Tao. Mom. She can save me. You ask her to save me. Seeing that Xiao Fengxi had left, Li Nuanyang ran over and grabbed Zhong Tao's arm, and shook it desperately. You kid, I told you not to be too crazy. Maybe one day, you will offend your own nobleman. You can see that Fengxi is a very opinionated and capable person. I can only try my best to keep her in the Li family. As for the rest, I still need to tie the bellman to solve the bell. Zhong Tao said something and turned back to the room. Although she has not been in contact for a long time, she can see some of Xiao Fengxi's temperament. Unlike her best friend Su Nianqi's brainless kindness, this child has edges. However, she is still kind in the bottom of her heart, otherwise she would not have saved Nuanyang at the first time. Li Nuanyang will not give up Xiao Fengxi's life-saving straw. Her disease is congenital, and the hospital can find out the cause, but she will get sick and shock when she gets angry. I have taken a lot of medicine and injections since I was a child, but the disease is not good. And as you get older, you get sick more and more often. A slight fluctuation in mood is easy to get sick. If there is no doctor around to rescue you, the result is death. I'll go out and follow her. With a stubborn look, Li Nuanyang drove out of the door directly. Halfway up the mountain, she saw Xiao Fengxi walking. Sister-in-law. Where are you going? I'll drive you there. Xiao Fengxi felt that the little girl was still a little cute with a 180-degree turn in her attitude. At least as honest, not disguised. All right. Thinking about the place where he was going, Xiao Fengxi got into the car. The positioning was sent to Li Nuanyang, and the car flew out like an arrow from the string. Along the way, Li Nuanyang didn't T say anything about asking Xiao Fengxi to treat her. Although the little girl is straightforward, she is not stupid. She has said something rude several times before, and she always has to save some image first. Sister-in-law, we are here. At 9:00 in the evening, the car stopped in front of a star nightclub. This is the largest nightclub in the capital, and it is also the most common industry in the branch of the God of Fortune group. Of course, the Starry nightclub is now owned by Xiao Fengxi. She contacted the car and person in charge of the God of Fortune group. The person in charge is in Europe and can rush here as soon as possible. However, the news that Xiao Fengxi took over the God of Wealth group has spread within the God of Wealth group. It is no exaggeration to say that Xiao Fengxi's current financial resources are enough to describe as rich as rival to the country. The general manager of Star Group is called Chen Ning, and his rank is not as high as that of an insider of God of Fortune group. But because he is the only small person in charge of the God of Wealth group in the Devil's capital, he also knows the existence of Xiao Fengxi. The matter of making identity certificates was contacted by Chen Ning. It is said that he has been a professional forging certificate for 30 years and has never been recognized. Xiao Fengxi entered the Star nightclub, and Li Nuanyang waited outside in the car. When Chen Ning saw Xiao Fengxi himself, he couldn't help sighing. The little girl has countless wealth at the age of 18, which is so popular. The certificate was made urgently, and Xiao Fengxi finally became a person with an ID card. Everything went well here, but Li Nuanyang got into trouble outside. Several drunken gangsters rounded the red sports car, and Li Nuanyang was arguing with those people. "You let that woman go," Li Nuanyang scolded loudly. But a few gangsters didn't take it seriously. "She is drunk. We sent her home. Little sister, we advise you to meddle. These people specialize in picking up corpses, specializing in picking drunk single women. After being taken to the hotel to commit the wrongdoing, he will take photos to threaten, first robbing sex and then effling money. As long as they are entangled by such people, many girls' lives will be over." Li Nuanyang was just waiting in the car and saw a drunken girl coming out with his own eyes. Then he was surrounded by these guys and wanted to take her away by force. She spoke to stop it, but at the age of 17 or 18, there was no deterrence at all. Xiao Fengxi didn't know what had happened, but the words of one of the gangsters directly angered her. "Little girl, you'd better take care of yourself. You think you are doing a good thing, but this woman blames you for medding too much. She wears so little, doesn't she just want men to look at her and have sex with her? What kind of miniskirt? What kind of navel dress? Isn't it just to seduce us? You women are like this. You are so coquettish. When you really attract people's attention, you pretend to be innocent." The proper victim's guilty theory made Xiao Fengxi angry. Dress freely. It is natural for women to love beauty. How did it become seduction and coquettishness? But she won't reason with the bastard, which is a waste of time. Passing by Li Nuanyang, Xiao Fengxi glanced at her. Then, Xiao Fengxi rushed to several bastards like a cannonball. The screams sounded, Xiao Fengxi's fists opened and closed, and those bastards were blown out like balls. When she came back with a disinfectant paper towel to wipe her hands, Li Nuanyang was still in a daze. "Go home. Remember, sometimes the fist is better than the mouth." Chapter 9. The domineering president turns into a pony in a second. "Wow, my sister-in-law is so handsome." Little stars appeared in Li Nuanyang's eyes. She likes girls who can fight the most. It's so cool. If she had a sister-in-law, she would definitely not be too lazy to talk nonsense with those bastards. The taillights of Porsche turned on, leaving the exhaust gas for those bastards. The drunken girl was taken care of by the nightclub security guard arranged by Xiao Fengxi. Now she wants to go home to sleep. My mother once said that if there is really a crazy island, if it is difficult to take revenge, she will go to the Su family in Kyoto. That's her grandmother's house, which is also a prestigious family. However, things need to be done little by little. Xiao Fengxi is not completely familiar with the rules of the outside world, and everything is discussed in the long run. Early the next morning, the Li family's dinner table looks much more lively. If Li Nuanyang starts to flatter Xiao Fengxi, she desperately wants to have a good relationship with this future sister-in-law. Helplessly, she is still a high school student. Even if she drives a luxury car, she can escape the fate of going to school. "I'm going to tell you why you look a little unhappy today." Zhong Tao looked at the silent Li Jinyan and asked. In fact, Li Jinyan has always had this cold face, and ordinary people really can't see his joys and sorrows. "Oh, it's okay. I don't know how the Xiao family got involved with the God of Wealth group. That is the largest consortium in the world with wealth and energy. If the Xiao family really succeeds, the balance between the Xiao and Li families will be broken. For his mother and family, Li Jinyan has concealed the company's affairs. However, when it comes to the God of Wealth group, Xiao Fengxi's eyes lit up slightly. She didn't want to help Li Jinyan, but simply wanted to suppress the Xiao family. I still remember that, when I left Mad God Island, Grandma Chan said, Don, T fight and kill, and use money to smash. What can be smashed with money? Just try it with Xiao's family. However, before Xiao Fengxi opened his mouth, Tang Susu was in a hurry. My college classmate is the general manager of Star Nightclub, and an insider of the God of Wealth group. If it doesn't work, I'll go to him to see if we can cooperate with the Li family, and the God of Wealth group. After saying that, Tang Susu stared at Li Jinyan. She hopes to help Li Jinyan do something so that the man can look at her directly. But Li Jin didn't. Squint. When he lowered his head to drink porridge, he only said 2 words coldly. No need. He doesn't need a woman's help. Although he is not the hidden boss in the female romance novel, he also has some special means. It's just that this little thing is not worth using those means. Hearing Li Jinyan's refusal, Tang Susu's face instantly became ugly. After eating just a little bit, she left the dining table. As soon as she took 2 steps, Xiao Fengxi's voice came from behind her. I will solve the matter of the Xiao family, and you also ask the company to prepare. I will ask the people of the God of Wealth group to cooperate with your company in depth. It's too crazy to say this, as if the God of Fortune group is hers. Li Jinyan frowned and looked sideways at Xiao Fengxi. Are you saying that I am incapable of settling this matter? The air pressure around him was much lower, but Xiao Fengxi didn't even look at him. No matter how Mr. Li understands, I'm not discussing with you. I'm just informing you. It's too annoying. The servants beside him all showed shocked expressions. No one in the Li family and Li's group dares to talk to the young master like this. Li Jinyan was speechless for a moment, and turned out to be a dumb goose, and froze there. Phone she, can you do this? Zhong Tao put a peeled shrimp into Xiao Fengxi's plate and asked with a smile. Xiao Fengxi nodded in a very casual tone. If you can do it, just make a phone call. Tang Susu really couldn't listen any longer, so she turned around and walked back. She has been married to Li Jinjie for 2 years, just to get close to Li Jinyan. But 2 years later, she couldn't see any hope. But even so, she feels complacent because she can see Li Jinyan every day. But Xiao Fengxi's arrival disrupted all this. Xiao Fengxi didn't care what she couldn't reach. Li Jinyan is a very arrogant person. He didn't get angry even if he was scolded by her just now. I have to say that Tang Susu has been hiding very well in the past 2 years, but now, her mentality has collapsed. Fengxi, this matter is not a trivial matter. It's the God of Wealth group. Can you solve it with a phone call? You don't think the God of Fortune group is yours, do you? Sitting back in his position, Tang Susu asked loudly. It doesn't matter whether the God of Fortune group is mine or not. I can solve this matter. Xiao Fengxi didn't bother to pay attention to Tang Susu's questioning. On the contrary, Tang Susu's questioning made Li Jinyan very unhappy, which made others think that Tang Susu was fighting back at Xiao Fengxi for him and Li Jinyan. Well, you take care of this matter. I'll ask the people in the company to prepare to connect with the God of Wealth group. Li Jinyan responded to Xiao Fengxi, which undoubtedly said that he believed Xiao Fengxi. Tang Susu's questioning just turned into a joke. Just then, a news box popped up on Xiao Fengxi's mobile phone. Cyrus Group has won the favor of the world's largest consortium, and will hold a cooperation ceremony at the Pearl Hotel at noon tomorrow. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and Xiao Fengxi gave another order to Li Jinyan. Tomorrow, take your people directly to the Pearl Hotel. The Xiao family wants to show their faces, and the Li family will show them. Li Jinyan took a deep breath and tried to adapt to he feeling of being ordered by his little wife. Okay, no problem. The domineering president turned into an obedient pony in an instant. Tang Susu was angry, and being ignored one after another made her feel like a clown. Sincerely, brother. She is nonsense. Do you also follow her with the face of Lis group? Chapter 10 Tear your face. Susu. Li Jinjie pulled his wife's clothes. He studied painting and has never been interested in the management of the company. After graduation, I didn't want to participate in the management of the company. I only thought about painting. The eldest brother loves his younger brother, and often holds a painting exhibition for him. It can be said that they have not made much contribution to this family, so naturally they have no saw. Why? Li Jinjie is like this, contented and self-aware. What are you pulling me for? However, Tang Susu, who has always been gentle and elegant, seemed to have eaten gunpowder today, and directly shook off Li Jinju's hand. Things have come to this point, so let's just say it. Li Jinjie is also a shareholder of Lis Group, and has the right to participate in the management of the company. In this matter, we don't agree with you joking about the future of the company. She didn't see how ugly Zhong Tao's face was from what she said. Instead, Xiao Fengxi looked up at Tang Susu. Well, you can go to your classmate Chen Ning and see if he can help you. As for what I can do, it's not your turn to teach me. After saying that, Xiao Fengxi said goodbye to Zhong Tao and Grandma Li, who was still gnawing chicken legs. Second brother, I welcome you to participate in the management of the company. But I have a veto in the company, so I left this matter to Xiao Fengxi. If something goes wrong, it's mine. Li Jinyan also stood up and said, completely ignoring Tang Susu's existence again. Humph. Tang Susu was so angry that she went out with a black face. She is going to find Chen Ning. She must get this done, so that Li Jinyan can admire herself. After Tang Susu left, Zhong Tao looked at her second son. Waving his hand to signal all the servants to go down, Zhong Tao asked, in a low voice, Jinjia, tell your mother the truth. Did you go to the hospital for a checkup? Tang Susu hasn't been pregnant after 2 years of marriage, which is very abnormal. Li Jinju's face suddenly turned red, and his eyes dodged. No, I'll check it out when I have time. He is not skilled in lying. Jinjia, my mother knows that you like Susu, but you like it. Sometimes sincerity may not be exchanged for true love. You don't have to lie to me. My mother is only in her 40s, and she is not old. If I guess right, after 2 years of marriage, Susu is still perfect. Zhong Tao's words shocked Li Jinjia, but he didn't expect that his mother had seen it. Mom, actually, I know it all, but if you tell your mother the truth, will you think it's all your brother's fault? Zhong Tao asked very seriously. No, I know what kind of person the eldest brother is. He has loved me since he was a child. Li Jinjia said from the bottom of his heart. The seriousness on Zhong Tao's face eased a little, and she gently patted her son on the shoulder. Remember, a family should have one heart. Mom doesn't dislike Tang Susu. Although her intentions are impure, her mother has always pretended to be invisible. Because that's the person you like. Mom, I hope you are happy, and I also hope your brother is happy. Mom, you have the right to choose. After saying that, Zhong Tao also got up and went back to the room. Grandma Li also stood up and looked at her second grandson solemnly. Grandma, do you have anything to say? Li Jinjia is like a good baby, waiting for the reprimand of his elders. Do you still want to eat the plate of lobster in front of you? My arms are too short to reach. Xiao Fengxi took Li Jinyan's car down the mountain. After that, Li Jinyan went to Li's group, and Xiao Fengxi went to the Pearl Hotel. When he saw the glory of the Pearl Hotel, Xiao Fengxi smiled. It is worthy of being the largest hotel in Mordu, which is quite impressive. At this moment, the door of the Pearl Hotel is full of flower baskets and red banners, all of which are sent by some local enterprises or even officials. Counting the time, the news of Xiao's cooperation with the God of Wealth Group has only been announced for more than an hour, and so many people have already given gifts. It seems that the influence of the God of Fortune Group is really not small. Miss, we have been contracted by Xiao's group and no longer accept any banquets. As soon as he walked to the gate, a waiter in a vest, a white shirt and a bow tie, came over and politely stopped Xiao Fengxi. Oh, all right. Xiao Fengxi didn't insist, turned around and left. Coincidentally, when she turned around, she saw Tang Susu and Chen Ning of the Star nightclub coming over. Tang Susu was laughing when she saw that Xiao Fengxi didn't even enter the hotel gate. With this ability, he also threatened to let the God of Fortune Group cancel the cooperation with the Xiao family with a phone call. It's really shameless to talk, brag and pay taxes. Chen Ning naturally knows Xiao Fengxi. But Xiao Fengxi said that she didn't want some indifferent people to know her identity. So Chen Ning can only pretend not to know each other. Yo, this is not the future young grandmother of the Li family. Why, she didn't enter the door and was kicked out. Anyway, he has torn his face, and Tang Susu doesn't pretend. She blocked Xiao Fengxi's way and mocked unceremoniously. I didn't go in. I'll eat an ice cream and go in later. Xiao Fengxi fiddled with his mobile phone and didn't even look up at Tang Susu. Install, continue to install, I'll go in and order a cup of coffee for you. Throwing Xiao Fengxi a big wide eye, Tang Susu swayed to the gate step by step. Chen Ning's face turned pale with fright, and it could be seen that his college classmate had sex with his biggest boss. Then, do you want to introduce Tang Susu to the people of the God of Wealth Group? This Tang Susu is also an idiot enough. The biggest boss of the God of Wealth Group doesn't go to have a good relationship, and goes to find his own little shrimp of the God of Wealth Group. Looking at Chen Ning's pale face, Xiao Fengxi waved his hand impatiently. Just take her in. When Tang Susu and Chen Ning entered the Pearl Hotel, Xiao Fengxi directly edited a message and sent it. By the Pearl Hotel for me. Chapter 11 Now, get out of my territory. You are from the God of Wealth G. Group. Please come here. In the Pearl Hotel, the lobby manager personally received Chen Ning and Tang Susu. The reason why they can come in is entirely because Chen Ning's Star Nightclub is a subsidiary of the God of Fortune Group. But after sending Tang Susu in, Chen Ning said goodbye. If Xiao Fengxi hadn't asked him to bring Tang Susu in just now, Chen Ning would have wanted to leave Tang Susu by himself. What kind of bullshit classmate can T provoke his big boss for her? The dog's life is important. For Chen Ning's departure, Tang Suzuki had a stomachache. Without Chen Ning's introduction, the God of Wealth Group knew what kind of onion she was. But Chen Ning said that there was something important, and no matter how much she called, she didn't. T looked back. At this time, Tang Susu was blinded directly inside, and her anxious forehead was sweating. Xiao Fengxi waited outside for about 15 minutes, and the message rang on his mobile phone. The Pearl Building already belongs to the property of the God of Wealth Group. So naturally Xiao Fengxi has the final say. Xiao Fengxi's identity was only informed of the management of the hotel, and the general manager of the hotel had already picked up Xiao Fengxi at the door. After receiving the message, Xiao Fengxi bought an ice cream at the door of the supermarket. In less than a minute, a Mediterranean man, running in sweat, came to her. Diao Demon looked at the photos on his mobile phone and Xiao Fengxi, who was eating ice cream, and quickly bowed. 90 degrees. My name is Diao Demon, and I am the person in charge of the Pearl Hotel. I have met the big boss. He still seems to be dreaming. This big hotel is worth 10 billion yuan. If you change the boss, you will change the boss. And the new boss is still such an 18 or 19-year-old girl. It's just a big deal. Well, take me inside, and have a look. Xiao Fengxi ate ice cream, and followed Diao Demon into the Pearl Hotel. The waiter who had just stopped Xiao Fengxi didn't dare to stop him now, and obediently saw Xiao Fengxi into the hotel. Why did you come in? As soon as Xiao Fengxi went in, Tang Susu ran over. She just talked to several people, but she didn't meet anyone from the God of Fortune Group. Mr. Xiao, you know each other? Diao Demon looked back at Xiao Fengxi. Mr. Xiao. Hearing Diao Demon's name for Xiao Fengxi, Tang Susu couldn't help screaming. What kind of famous hall are you doing? This is the Pearl Hotel. Don't mess around. She stared at Xiao Fengxi, and her eyes were about to spit fire. Now, please get out of my territory. Xiao Fengxi looked at Tang Susu coldly, and finished the ice cream in one bite. Diao Demon quickly stretched out his hands to take the ice cream stick. His face was full of respect. You? Before Tang Susu could react, Diao Demon had called the security guard to throw Tang Susu directly out of the Pearl Hotel. Until Tang Susu hit the ground heavily, she still couldn't believe everything she saw. What is the origin of Xiao Fengxi? He was turned away by the waiter just now. How did he become the boss here in a blink of an eye? Where are the people of the God of Fortune Group? Xiao Fengxi drove away Tang Susu, an annoying thing, and wanted to arrange tomorrow's process. The Xiao family attaches great importance to this cooperation, which is bound to make a big deal. Therefore, she wants to make the Xiao family lose face at the last minute. Half an hour later, Xiao Fengxi came out of the Pearl Hotel. It was still early. She just went tea. Oh, a store. In fact, there are many luxury cars in the Li family's garage, but she thinks those cars are too ostentatious. In the end, Xiao Fengxi chose a scooter of more than 300,000 yuan in the store, and won the full amount directly. However, the license plate will not be available until tomorrow, so she took a temporary license plate and tea on the road. Xiao's family. Xiao Juishan is in a very good mood. Although Xiao Fengxi was not caught, it also played a deterrent role. China is not a mad island. It exists by law. The most important thing is to sign a cooperation agreement with the God of Fortune Group tomorrow. Li Jinyan's Li's group can't catch up with it even if it is a horse. Have all the invitations been sent out? Xiao Jushan asked with a cigar. Master, people with heads and faces in the four worlds of merchants, government, martial arts and doctors in the demon capital have sent invitations. The housekeeper answered and took out a gold-plated invitation in his pocket. This is the invitation you want to send to Li's group. Xiao Jushan received the invitation, and he was in a much happy mood. Go. Send invitations to Li's group. With a large group of bodyguards, Xiao Jushan went straight to the headquarters of Li's group. Li Jinyan was in the office when Xiao Wu, the bodyguard, came in. Master, Xiao Jushan is here. Li Jinyan was stunned, and then a playful smile appeared on his face. This old guy can wait to show off. Bring it with you. Li Jinyan gently poured a cup of tea for himself. Xiao Jushan came to Li Jinyan's office and directly patted the gold-plated invitation on Li Jinyan's desk. Li family boy, don't say that the Xiao family, give you the Li family face. Remember to come to tomorrow's banquet. Ha ha ha. After saying that, Xiao Jushan left directly. In fact, according to his identity, it is impossible for him to do such a childish thing X. But Li Jinyan has put too much pressure on him over the years. He will release it if he has a chance. Li Jinyan didn't say anything, but just drank tea by himself. At this time, the weaker Xiao Jiushin will be, the happier he will be. At that time, things will really be as Xiao Fengxi said, and the God of Wealth group will change its partner to Li's group. Xiao Jiushin will suffer a greater blow. Everything depends on tomorrow. Chapter 12 Complacent Xiao Jiushin. In the evening, Tang Susu returned to the Li family with a lost face. During the meal, she could clearly feel that everyone's attitude towards her had changed slightly. Even Li Nuanyang, the most heartless, ignored her. But she still held her breath. Because she doesn't believe that Xiao Fengxi can do what she can do. After tomorrow, the Li family will understand that Xiao Fengxi is just a liar who can only talk big. After dinner, Li Jinyan took out the invitation given by Xiao Jiushin. He looked at Xiao Fengxi and asked, "Can you attend tomorrow as my female companion?" Bang Tilda hearing Li Jinyan's words, the chopsticks in Tang Susu's hand fell on the table. Li Jinjia's heart also jumped suddenly, and his eyes looked at Tang Susu. And Tang Susu was looking at Li Jinyan at this time. You know, Li Jinyan has never had contact with the opposite sex in any public place. This time, Xiao Fengxi was directly invited to be his female companion to show the whole demon city that he had a woman he liked. Yes, I haven't eaten anything from a star hotel yet. Xiao Fengxi agreed, without a little excitement in his tone. Tang Susu is going to be mad. How can she be so calm? That was the invitation of Brother Jinyan. If it were another woman in the whole demon city, they would be so excited when they were invited by Brother Jinyan. Vegetarian, eat fish. Li Jinjia picked up dishes for Tang Susu, hoping that his wife would not be too wrong. The next day, Tang Susu said that he was fine at home and had to follow him to the Pearl Hotel to grow his knowledge. Zhong Tao's face was not good looking, but in order to take care of her second son's face, she didn't have an attack. She also put on an exquisite makeup, and was ready to go with her. Li Nuanyang is a person who likes to join in the fun. Naturally, he pestered the eldest brother to follow him. So on this trip, Li Jinyan, a man took 4 women with him. Along the way, Li Nuanyang was like a little sparrow, constantly chirping in Xiao Fengxi's ear. The car stopped at the gate of the Pearl Hotel, and Li Jinyan and his party got out of the car. Seeing that the waiter at the door saw Xiao Fengxi, he still didn't know him. Tang Susu concluded that she must have entered the Pearl Hotel yesterday by means of not seeing the light. But she won't say anything at this time. Everything has seen the cooperation signing ceremony for a while. The arrival of Li Jinyan and his party directly attracted the attention of everyone in the banquet hall. In particular, some single women looked like nymphomaniacs after seeing Li Jinyan's prosperous face. Who is that woman? I don't know. My Jinyan male god will already have a famous flower and a master. That little girl looks only 18 or 19 years old. She probably can't take down the male god of Jinyan. 3 women in one play. Hundreds of women in the audience discussed together, and the whole banquet hall suddenly became a duck's nest. Xiao Fengxi looked up and straightened his chest, looking for Xiao Jiushin in the crowd. Her aura and Li Jinyan's aura are the kind of aura that strangers should not approach. It's just that the little girl is too good looking, so she will hide some of her own sharpness. Everyone, welcome to the signing ceremony of cooperation between Xairos Group and God of Wealth Group in your busy schedule. I, Xiao Jiushin, would like to express my sincere thanks to everyone here. On the stage, Xiao Jiushin held the microphone and said, the atmosphere at the scene became hot, and some people had begun to slap their beards. Mr. Xiao, in the future, we will cooperate with the God of Wealth Group. If you eat meat, if you have soup, remember to reward us old friends. I think the Xiao family's cooperation with the God of Wealth Group this time is expected to get out of the magic capital and take root in Kyoto. It goes to say that with the support of the God of Wealth Group, the Xiao family is not walking horizontally in which city. Mr. Xiao, if there is any trouble in the future, please feel free to open your mouth. We, Shen Wutang, will do our best. Xiao Jiushin enjoyed the words of those who slapped the horse with a beard. It has even reached the point of forgetting a little. It must be. I'm Xiao Jiushin, but everyone here is fine. Xiao Jiushin waved his big hand and was proud. Seeing Li Jinyan, Xiao Jiushin pointed to Li Jinyan. The only regret is that I will lose the strong opponent of Li's group in the future. But there is nothing we can do. The stronger people are, the lonelier they are. I just hope that Mr. Li will not be in a downturment from now on. You can't catch up with my Xiao group in this life, and you still have the next life. Ha ha ha. Xiao Jiushin's sarcasm was undisguised. Because as long as the cooperation is signed with the God of Wealth Group, Xaios Group can leave Li's group behind forever. Haha, Mr. Xiao, don't forget that there is an idiom in China called happiness and sadness. I hope Mr. Xiao's wish will not be broken. Li Jinyan replied in a cold and hot way, almost swearing at Xiao Ji's weather. Humph. You are jealous. After saying that, Xiao Jushin put the microphone to his mouth again. Next, I will announce it. The cooperation signing ceremony between God of Fortune Group and Xiaos Group has officially begun. Chapter 13. Can you also call my man's name? As Xiao Jushin's voice spread throughout the venue, the most exciting moment came. Two representatives of the God of Fortune Group took the stage with a cooperation agreement in their hands. Tang Susu looked at Xiao Fengxi and sneered in her heart. Humph. Pretend to be a god, but nothing has changed in the end. Zhong Tao was more or less nervous and couldn't help looking at Xiao Fengxi. But seeing Xiao Fengxi's disdained face, Zhong Tao was inexplicably broken. Mr. Zhao, Mr. Wu. Xiao Jushin quickly put down the microphone and walked towards the two representatives of the God of Wealth Group. However, the two people who called him brothers yesterday are abnormal today. Mr. Zhao and Mr. Wu didn't even shake hands with Xiao Jushin, which directly embarrassed Xiao Jushin. But his embarrassment has just begun. Mr. Zhao came to Goutai and picked up the microphone. Next, I announce that the partner selected by the God of Fortune Group is Lis Group. This sentence exploded in the banquet hall like a thunderbolt. Xiao Jushin clicked his ears and doubted whether he had hallucinations. All the guests present were also confused and frightened by this sudden change. After Mr. Zhao finished speaking, he came to Li Jinyan with the cooperation letter. Mr. Li, would you like to cooperate with our God of Fortune Group? While talking, Mr. Zhao also secretly glanced at his big boss Xiao Fengxi. It's a great honor. Spitting out 4 words, Li Jinyan took over the cooperation agreement in Xiao Jushin's eyes. Mr. Wu thoughtfully handed over the signature pen, and Li Jinyan waved his big hand and left his name. Li's group has become a partner of the God of Wealth Group. Xiao Jushin was stupid, Tang Susu was stupid, and all the guests were also stupid. Li Jinyan came to Xiao Jushin and returned his words to him in the tone of Xiao Jushin just now. Mr. Xiao, we will not be rivals in the future, because you are no longer worthy. I just hope that Mr. Xiao will not be depressed from now on. If you can't catch up with my Li group in this life, then in the next life. Poof. As soon as Li Jinyan finished his words, Xiao Jushin spit out a mouthful of blood. 9 days. Dad. 2 women rushed over and hugged Xiao Jushin, looking at Li Jinyan with resentful eyes. Li Jinyan. You don't want the villain to be ambitious. Xiao Wanwan stared at Li Jinyan and her pink fist clicked. Bang. Without warning, Xiao Fengxi took action. She slapped Xiao Wanwan in the face in a contemptuous tone. What are you? You can call my man by name. This girl's name is Xiao Jushin's father, so it must be Xiao Jushin, and the third party Yu Yan. Find a reason to slap it as an interest. However, Xiao Fengxi was happy, but he didn't expect that what she had just said would make her a rival of many rich families. She said that Li Jinyan was her man, and it was this kind of public place. This is not a declaration of sovereignty. You bitch. Dare to hit me. Xiao Wanwan's waywardness is far superior to that of Li Nuanyang. He was slapped in the face in public, and his temper came up in an instant. She didn't dare to do anything to Li Jinyan, but she was not afraid to beat the women around him. Just that before the fist was stretched out, Xiao Fengxi slapped it again. Although the force was not strong, the fingertips left a wound on Xiao Wanwan's eyebrows. This scar, I left, is the glory of your life. Get out of here. Xiao Fengxi looked down at the 3 people of the Xiao family, as if the queen had come. Losing the cooperation of the God of Fortune Group, Xiao Jushin vomited blood, Xiao Wanwan was beaten, and the Xiao family's face was lost to Grandma's house today. Fortunately, Yu Yan's, a woman, has a scheming spirit. Knowing that the Li family is in the line now, she chose to calm down. Finally, he glanced at Xiao Fengxi, and Yu Yan squeezed out 3 words from her mouth. Let's go. The Xiao family was in a mess, and Xiao Fengxi also experienced the means that could be used for revenge in addition to fighting and killing. Psychological torture is often more uncomfortable than physiological torture. The wind direction at the scene suddenly changed, and the RDS that were originally flattering Xiao Jushin were used on Li Jinyan. Fortunately, those people were all old foxes and did not offend Li Jinyan when they flattered Xiao Jushin. And Li Jinyan doesn't care about those. It's just a false feeling in the business field, and in the end, it's nothing more than an exchange of interests. Susu apologized to Fengxi. After being excited, Zhong Tao said to Tang Susu with a calm face. This is also the first time since Tang Susu married into the Li family that her mother-in-law has shown face to Tang Susu. Mom. I ask. Do you to apologize? Song Tao scolded loudly, and the majesty of the hostess of the rich family suddenly burst out. Sorry. Tang Su's voice is as fine as a mosquito. Xiao Fengxi didn't bother to pay attention to her at all and went straight to the swimming pool on the top floor of Pearl to play. At this time, the Xiao family was already sad and bleak. Yu Yan felt familiar with Xiao Fengxi at first sight. Thinking of Su Nianji's appearance, he was even more restless. It's really that woman's child is back. I heard that the enemy's family came to the door yesterday, and it was Xiao Jushin who used the power of the police to get through the difficult time. But the power of the police is not private to you, and it is impossible to protect you all the time. After thinking for a while, Yu Yan took out her mobile phone and dialed the number. Biaozi, hit me to death. Chapter 14 Car Accident. After the banquet at noon, Li Jinyan went straight back to the company. In the in-depth cooperation with the God of Fortune group, there are also some new customers coming one after another, and he will be quite busy in the next period. Sister-in-law, how on earth did you do it? Do you know any bigwigs in the God of Fortune group? Oh, sister-in-law, just tell me. Li Nuanyang has been pestering Xiao Fengxi and constantly spoiling him, which makes Xiao Fengxi very annoyed. If this girl is the same as before, she won't give her a good face. But she can reach out and hit the smiling person just by saying New Year's greetings. I know the big boss of the God of Fortune group. Finally, Xiao Fengxi had no choice but to say perfunctory. Wow, sister-in-law, you are so awesome. Well, is the big boss of the God of Fortune group an old man or an old lady? Are you ugly? Li Nuanyang is a curious baby who has endless questions. Xiao Fengxi was speechless for a moment and stopped paying attention to the little girl. Back to the Li family manor, Xiao Fengxi drove his own car to the DMG to sign up the license plate. In the future, she will have her OWN means of transportation. Although it is only 300,000 yuan, it can also protect the wind and rain. After the license plate was registered from the DF, Xiao Fengxi noticed that a black off-road vehicle was following him. It's not that she is so alert, but that the vehicles following her are too obvious. She bought a car yesterday and spent 2 hours at night to get through all the traffic rules. However, she didn't want to dump the other party, but drove directly to the wilderness. The black off-road vehicle followed from afar, with a bottle of liquor on the co-pilot. Seeing that the woman in the car in front got out of the car and was still standing in the middle of the road, Biaozi was ecstatic. It's too easy to earn this million. He touched the steering wheel with one hand and picked up the liquor with the other hand and poured a few sips. Then, Biaozi stepped directly on the accelerator to the bottom. Boom boom boom. The off-road vehicle was like a wild cow, crashing into Xiao Fengxi, who looked weak. Xiao Fengxi was expressionless and held a stone in his hand. When the off-road vehicle was less than 100 meters away from her, Xiao Fengxi threw the stone in his hand out. Whish! The stone cut through the air, passed through the hard windshield like a bullet, and hit Biaozi's right shoulder. It seemed to be hit on some acupuncture point, and Biaozi's hand hit the steering wheel uncontrollably. The car that had crashed into Xiao Fengxi instantly lost control, and crashed into the big tree beside it. The impact was so great that it directly made the vehicle burn. Xiao Fengxi smashed the window with a punch, opened the door and pulled out the bloody Biaozi. At this moment, Biaozi was in a coma. Xiao Fengxi clicked several acupuncture points on him, before he woke him up. Who asked you to kill me? Xiao Fengxi directly stepped on Biaozi's neck and asked coldly. Yes. Yu Yan's, the heroine of the Xiao family. Biaozi looked at Xiao Fengxi's perfect and delicate face, as if he had seen the devil, and was so scared that he directly sold his employer. Xiao Fengxi took out his mobile phone from Biaozi's pocket, and then broke his other arm, and threw Biaozi back into the burning car. Biaozi let out a heart-rending scream, and begging for mercy in the car, but he had no choice but to open the door with both hands. Xiao Fengxi was about to find the contact person on the phone when Biaozi's phone suddenly rang. Xiao Fengxi pressed the answer button, and the sound of Yu Yan came from the other end of the mobile phone. Did you get it? Xiao Fengxi smiled and looked at the off-road vehicle that was about to explode. If you really want to kill me, hire some powerful people. After saying that, Xiao Fengxi hung up the phone directly, and threw his mobile phone into the stuff. She turned around, and wanted to leave, but suddenly noticed a strong sense of crisis. The next second, Xiao Fengxi's body suddenly ejected. Just as her body had just left the place, a gunshot suddenly came from a distance. However, when the other party saw that Xiao Fengxi noticed it, the man quickly moved with a gun. Xiao Fengxi looked at the hole in the tree that was punched by bullets and glanced at the mountain in the distance. It seems that there are still many people who want to kill themselves. It's time to contact the shadow killing organization and get a few top killers to be bodyguards to protect their own safety. Driving his own car away, Xiao Fengxi saw the explosion of the off-road vehicle from the rearview mirror. Xiao family, Xiao Jushin has come to his senses. Yan told Xiao Jushin about hiring a car to hit people. Xiao Jushin just shook his head and smiled bitterly. Do you think a person who is afraid of even a sword will be hit by a car? I will contact the shadow killing organization, and you don't have to worry about this matter. Hearing that Xiao Jushin wanted to contact the shadow killing organization, Yan's heart relaxed. The shadow killing organization is a global top killer organization. Once you accept the task, you will never die. The only drawback is that the charge is too high. Well, get rid of her as soon as possible, or I won't be able to sleep in the future. I don't know if this little bit's mother is dead or not. It's really a hard thing. Chapter 15 Master, Madam and a man entered the private room. At night, Xiao Fengxi nestled in a soft quilt and held a laptop. She was checking the news of Su's family, but she got nothing. The whole Su family seemed to disappear out of thin air, leaving no clues in the world. Of course, this is unreasonable. It seems that I have time to go to Kyoto. After all, my grandfather's family is my only blood relative in the world now. When he was about to go to bed, Xiao Fengxi received a reply from the shadow killing organization. The soft sword is real or not? They will have to see it in person. The emperor has disappeared for nearly 30 years, and now the shadow killing organization has its own leader. You just came out of thin air, and said that you would take over other people's organization. And the current leader was naturally not satisfied. This is not the God of Wealth group, but about the law and the right of inheritance. This is an underground killer organization, which values personal strength more. Finally, the shadow killing organization sent a message to Xiao Fengxi. By the way, you said your name is Xiao Fengxi. Xiao Fengxi replied yes, and the other party sent a sweaty expression. We have just received a business worth 100 million yuan, and the person to kill is you. Xiao Fengxi was also speechless. Is this such a coincidence? You want to see the authenticity of the soft sword? Come here just in time. After communicating well with the shadow killing organization, Xiao Fengxi went to bed. Early the next morning, Xiao Fengxi received a coordinate and a message as soon as he got up. The people of the shadow killing organization are not trusted now. Come and see me. One sentence made Xiao Fengxi in the clouds, so she decided to go to that coordinate to have a look. When Xiao Fengxi's car left the Li family manor, a black supercar chased him out. The people in the car are wearing Bluetooth headphones and are reporting the situation to Li Jinyan. Master, don't worry. My driving skills are much better than Xiao Wu's. I promise not to lose my wife. Xiao Liu looked at the taillight of Xiao Fengxi in front of him and said. Li Jinyan just told him to keep in touch at any time and hung up the phone. The driving recorder on Xiao Liu's car has the function of real-time image transmission, so Li Jinyan can now see the picture seen by Xiao Liu. Xiao Fengxi's car is a hatchback of more than 300,000 yuan, which he doesn't even bother to look at. He couldn't imagine how Xiao Fengxi, a girl, spent 18 years on Madness Island. It must be hard to survive on the edge of life and death every day. Otherwise, her ability can't be honed. In addition, she can get the world's top consortium to cooperate with her company with a phone call, which shows that she must have an identity she doesn't know. He is super good at fighting, and very powerful. This is all that Li Jinyan knows about his little wife at present. Xiao Fengxi is very smart. He has only touched the car for a day, and his driving skills are already first class. When she came to the coordinates, she found that it was a delicately decorated and elegant cafe. Entering and sitting down, Xiao Fengxi waited quietly. After Xiao Liu arrived, Li So got out of the car and walked directly into the cafe generously. He was dressed in a white collar dress, and carried a mango notebook in his hand. Entering the store and ordering a cup of coffee, Xiao Liu clicked on the keyboard. Xiao Fengxi didn't see Xiao Liu, but he didn't pay much attention to it. After a glance. Not long, a young man in a suit and leather shoes came in. The young man looks very sunny in his 20s. Entering the cafe, the young man looked around and walked directly towards Xiao Fengxi. Xiao Liu's little heart was pounding, and the document table screen on the laptop flashed and switched to a camera. Li Jinyan is on his way to work. Because there are many people in the morning rush hour, he always staggers in the morning rush hour before going to the company. Xiao Wu, was driving, only saw his boss glance at his mobile phone, and then his face became unsightly. He was so scared that he didn't even dare to step on the accelerator hard, and his whole body was as quiet as a cicada. Li Jinyan was still staring at the sunny boy in the photo, and Xiao Liu sent another message. Master, they went to the private room of the cafe. Shall I go in and take your wife out? Li Jinyan was stunned and suddenly felt that his head seemed to be a little green dot. Can you beat her? Wait. Sending instructions to Zaya Liu, Li Jinyan took 2 deep breaths in a row. This little girl can't have a good partner, right? In the private room of the cafe, Xiao Fengxi directly showed the soft sword Autumn Wind. The Viper waved his hand and did not take up the Autumn Wind soft sword to check carefully. My name is Viper, and I am one of the ace killers of the shadow killing organization. I can tell why. Oh, clearly that your current situation is very dangerous. Because not long ago, Shadow Kill experienced a civil war. The old man who killed the emperor has been missing for too long, and some radicals can sit still. The loyal followers of the emperor are now dying and running away. The person you contacted has just won the power of the shadow killing. How can you come back to take over? Viper explained seriously and took out the video clues in his hand to show Xiao Fengxi. Now the person in power of shadow killing is a transsexual who turns into a man into a woman. Codenamed Kianki. Shadow kill has been given to me by that old thing. If you take power, you will kill him. After taking a sip of coffee, Xiao Fengxi said lightly. When Viper heard Xiao Fengxi's words, his eyes flashed. This courage and courage alone are worthy of his follow-up. The two talked for a while, and the Viper left the room first. Xiao Liu waited until Xiao Fengxi came out, and quickly sent a message to Li Jinyan. Master, Madam and the man stayed in the private room for a total of 15 minutes. Chapter 16. There are too many people who can't get used to me. How old are you? Let me ask you, who is this man? At noon, the first thing Li Jinyan did when he returned to Li's house was to go to Xiao Fengxi's room to question. Xiao Fengxi glanced at him indifferently and felt a little ridiculous. Are you spying on me? I don't call it surveillance, I call it protection. Li Jin said that Zhen Zhen had words. Do I need your protection? Xiao Fengxi didn't give Li Jinyan any face. You are my fiancé. Of course I want to know you. Li Jinyan changed another rhetoric. Xiao Fengxi's hand, which was rubbing the pill, paused slightly and looked up at Li Jinyan. Well, since you want to know me, I'm making murderous poison. Please help me try the effect of the medicine. After saying that, she handed 3 black pills to Li Jinyan. Li Jinyan's face was dark and he had forgotten why he came to Xiao Fengxi. He took the pill and put 3 of them directly into his mouth. Xiao Fengxi was stunned, but he didn't expect the domineering president to be so stupid. Nerd. Spitting out 2 mocking words, Xiao Fengxi stopped looking at Li Jinyan. Can you tell me who this man is now? Li Jinyan picked up the picture of the Viper and asked. Just that as soon as he finished his words, his stomach suddenly rattled. I don't seem to have an obligation to answer you. Xiao Fengxi said coldly, holding back his smile. You? What else did Li Jinyan say? The next second, he bent down and ran out with his stomach covered. For the next most of the day, Li Jinyan ran to the bathroom more than a dozen times. Xiao Fengxi recorded the number of times and was very satisfied with the laxatives he had improved. Even the strongest man can stand this intensity. Brother Jinyan, would you like some hot water? Tang Susu held a glass of hot water and plucked up the courage to stop Li Jinyan, who was going to the bathroom. Get out of the way. Li Jinyan shouted in a low voice and glanced at Xiao Fengxi, who was sitting in the living room looking at Peppa Pig. Brother Jinyan, drink some, in case you are dehydrated, it will be dangerous. Tang Susu insisted, but Li Jinyan couldn't wait. As soon as he raised his hand, the water cup in Tang Susu's hand was hit to the ground. I don't need you to take care of it. After saying that, Li Jinyan strode into the bathroom. Tang Susu's eyes were full of tears, and she didn't know what she had done wrong. She walked to Xiao Fengxi, picked up the remote control and pressed the power off button of the TV. The screen suddenly turned black, and Xiao Fengxi's eyes suddenly darkened. Xiao Fengxi, Li Jinyan is your baby fiancé. Can't you care about him? Tang Susu's questioning made Xiao Fengxi feel ridiculous. She stood up and snatched the remote control from Tang Susu's hand. Turning on the TV, Xiao Fengxi said lazily. Do you still know that he is my fiancé? Then why did you come here to pay attention? Tang Susu was stunned. Xiao Fengxi's words were ruthless mockery to her. I just can't stand you like this. Do you have the qualifications and awareness to be Jinyan's fiancé? Tang Susu is dying of anger. Xiao Fengxi was almost speechless. This woman is so stupid. How can she live so big? There are many people who can't get used to me. How old are you? After saying a sentence, Xiao Fengxi's attention was on TV. You are not worthy of Brother Jinyan at all. Tang Susu shouted, which was just heard by Li Jinyan, who came out of the bathroom. Do you have the right to judge whether she is worthy of me or not? If you have time, take care of Jinju's life more. Otherwise, I don't mind changing my sister-in-law.
This is the most Li Jingyan has said to her since Tang Susu married into the Li family. But she was like falling into an ice cellar. She didn't blame Li Jingyan. Everything was caused by Xiao Fengxi's arrival. Therefore, if this woman is disfigured, Jingyan's brother will not like her. Tang Susu went back to the room, and Li Jingyan also went back to the room and lay on his stomach. He really couldn't stand it and called the family doctor at home. Xiao Fengxi received a message, drove his car and went down the mountain. It was the people of the shadow killing organization who agreed to meet in a bar called Happy Valley. This time, not only Xiao Liu's car followed, but also Tang Susu drove out. Her Tang family is also a little powerful, so when Xiao Fengxi left the Li family, she had a chance to do it. When Xiao Fengxi's car stopped in front of the bar, Xiao Liu immediately followed him in. Tang Susu looked at the signboard of the bar with a sinister smile on her lips. This is the most chaotic nightclub in the whole Devil's capital. Who would come here to find excitement at this time? It seems that God is helping her. As long as she can get some indecent photos of Xiao Fengxi, Li Jingyan will definitely know how disgusting this woman is. As long as there is no woman around Li Jingyan, she has a chance. After getting out of the car and looking around, Tang Susu also walked into the bar. At this moment, Xiao Fengxi received a message from Viper. There are 3 people following you. 大姐 D. Oh, you want me to deal with them? Chapter 17 The Ancestor of Playing Poison. Looking at the photo of Xiao Liu, Tang Susu and another man in a cap, Xiao Fengxi replied to the message. The once over it boy myself she has already guessed that Xiao Liu is Li Jingyan's person, because this Xiao Liu looks very similar to Li Jingyan's bodyguard Xiao Wu. Xiao Fengxi didn't pay attention to Tang Susu's words at all, and he didn't need to pay attention to her. The only thing to be careful about is them, and in the cap. After solving biology last time, Xiao Fengxi was shot coldly. I don't know if this cap has anything to do with the gunman. The lights of the bar were dim yellow, and men and women were shaking their bodies on the dance floor. Xiao Fengxi after entering, he found a corner to sit down. The waiter immediately came over and asked Xiao Fengxi what kind of wine he needed. Xiao Fengxi doesn't know much about wine. After all, the resources of Mad God Island are limited, and it's good enough to eat and drink enough. Therefore, Xiao Fengxi just bought a bottle of red wine, which was not expensive, more than 6,000 yuan a bottle. After waiting for less than 5 minutes, a middle-aged man in a tuxedo came over. On a hot day, the man also wore a hat. Hello, my code name is Cobra. The Cobra sat opposite Xiao Fengxi and looked at the girl in front of him. Xiao Fengxi nodded and looked at Xiao Liu sitting not far away. That guy is still pretending to be playing with the laptop. In fact, the camera has been aimed at Xiao Fengxi. Just as he was about to take a picture of Xiao Fengxi, his notebook suddenly turned black. Xiao Liu's head is sweaty, but the notebook just doesn't work. Cobra, right. Are you here to admit my identity as the person in charge of the shadow killing, or are you here to kill me? Xiao Fengxi looked at the Cobra dressed as a gentleman and asked. That's right. This Cobra should have a monitoring device. Xiao Fengxi is conveying information to the transsexual Pianki. Either hand over the shadow killing organization or kill me, Xiao Fengxi. However, the Cobra didn't know that the Viper had found Xiao Fengxi. He also thought that Xiao Fengxi was talking about the task of assassinating Xiao Fengxi that Shadow Kill took over. Of course, I'm here to verify the authenticity of the Autumn Wind Soft Sword. If it's true, the whole Shadow Kill welcomes you to take over the organization. The Cobra said sincerely, and then picked up the wine bottle on the table, poured a glass for Xiao Fengxi first, and then poured a glass for himself. His movements are gentlemanly and his expression is natural, as if he is catching up with his old friends for many years. However, Xiao Fengxi sneered when he saw the drunken in front of him. No wonder it's called Cobra. It turned out to be a poison player. However, the Cobra has met the ancestor who played with poison this time. 2 of the old monsters on Mad God Island are mortal enemies. One is a medical fairy, and the other is a poison saint. Xiao Fengxi has been studying poison and detoxification since he was a child. The Cobra's poisonous technique just now was very good, but it couldn't escape her eyes. Without moving, Xiao Fengxi picked up the wine glass and took a sip naturally. This wine costs 6,000 yuan a bottle, which can't be wasted. The Cobra saw Xiao Fengxi drinking poisoned wine, and the light in his eyes flashed by. He didn't expect his mission to go so smoothly. Everything goes well and is a little casual. With a smile on his face, the Cobra also picked up the wine glass and took a sip. But at the moment when the red wine was in his throat, the Cobra's eyes trembled. He looked at Xiao Fengxi with wide eyes, and his eyes were full of disbelievability. Xiao Fengxi poured himself another glass of wine and looked at a button on the Cobra hat with a playful smile. Horty, you took something that doesn't belong to you, and I knew. In a word, the poor heart in the shadow killing organization based on the top of a snowy mountain far away in northern China shrinks. This girl is 17 or 18 years old, but she gives him a feeling that it is extremely difficult to deal with. You still have 3 days to live. Go home and arrange the future. This sentence was said by Xiao Fengxi to the Cobra. Cobra X Snake Moon got up. He was a gentle gentleman just now, but now he is like a walking dead who has lost his soul. Xiao Fengxi sent the Cobra away, which also confirmed the Viper's rhetoric. The current head of the shadow killing organization will indeed not hand over control easily. However, the shadow killing base is far away in the extremely cold land of northern China, and it can't be killed directly for a while. At least we have to wait for all the loyalists led by the Viper to gather. Thinking about things, Xiao Fengxi drank red wine slowly. The poison of the Cobra just now has been completely released by her, and there is no fear at all. It didn't take long for Xiao Fengxi's purity to be destroyed. Several gorgeously dressed young men came over and directly sandwiched Xiao Fengxi in the middle. The little beauty is alone. Can you have fun with your brother? One of the boys with dyed white hair touched Xiao Fengxi's face frivolously. In a dark corner in the distance, Tang Susu quickly picked up her mobile phone and clicked on the video. Chapter 18 shocked the audience. Bang! The white-haired young man touched Xiao Fengxi's hand and was slapped open. Xiao Fengxi stood up. A bottle of red wine of 6,000 yuan had been drunk, and the bottle of wine could not be wasted. Click! The wine bottle hit the head of a relatively strong young man, and the glass fragments flew across in an instant. Get out of here. It was just an action of smashing the wine bottle, which immediately shocked the gangsters. This girl is so cruel. Stop her for me. Just as Xiao Fengxi just walked out of the encirclement, the white-haired young man was the first to react. You didn't want to lose money for beating my brother. The white-haired young man shouted and took out a butterfly knife from his pocket. Xiao Fengxi turned around and asked the white hair, how much compensation should I pay? 100,000. The white-haired lion opened his mouth. Okay, Xiao Fengxi agreed. After saying that, Xiao Fengxi came back. In the eyes of everyone, Xiao Fengxi's hook off his slap and slapped my mouth's face 10 times. 1,000,000 yuan. Exactly 10,000,000 yuan. Xiao Fengxi's voice was cold, and all the gangsters were shocked and frozen in place. Even Tang Susu, who was recording in the distance, opened his mouth wide in surprise. Aren't girls usually scared to tears when they encounter this kind of hooligan? Why did Xiao Fengxi still scare the hooligan to tears? The white-haired eyes were full of tears. Give me a break. When Bimalo reacted, he covered his face and shouted. Dozens of strong men quickly came out of the surrounding carts and dance floors, all of whom were all kinds of fierce tattoos. At first glance, they were not good people. Tang Susu recovered from the shock and smiled proudly. The white hair she is looking for is not an ordinary person. Bimao's brother is the underground ruler of the southern district of the demon capital, and he has connections in black, white and gray. Their parents died early, so Bimao was favored by his brother since he was a child. In the southern district of the magic capital, Bimao is simply a horizontal existence, and no one dares to mess with it. Today, Xiao Fengxi came up and clicked 10 mouths, which provoked the king of hell. I'll see who dares to move. In an emergency, Xiao Liu slapped the table and stood up. He has no time to report to Li Jingyan in this situation. The lady is surrounded, and he must stand up. Anyway, the black screen of the notebook in my hand can't be used, so I just hold it as a brick in my hand. The sudden voice really scared Bimao, but when Bimao saw that it was a well-dressed little white collar, he didn't take it seriously. Kit, do you want to play hero save beauty? I think you have read too many novels. Xiao Fengxi also glanced at Xiao Liu and waved his hand to let him leave. Madam, who is your wife? I asked you to get out of the way. Don't get in my way. Xiao Fengxi's tone was disgusted, which suddenly made Xiao Liu blush a little. He didn't even dislike him, but he was disliked by his wife. However, Xiao Liu is obedient, and he has also seen a picture of his wife carrying a coffin to the Xiao family for revenge. So Xiao Liu took a few steps back obediently and took out his mobile phone. He made a video call to Li Jingyan so that Li Jingyan could see the situation here in real time. Little bitch, it's quite crazy. I don't know if you were so crazy when you were lying under me. 感叹号 Give it to me. Bimao shouted, and dozens of big men rushed to Xiao Fengxi. Tang Susu's hand holding the mobile phone was a little sweaty. Although it was not her who was surrounded, she also felt deep fear. The music in the bar stopped, and the dancing and wriggling crowd became quiet. Even the people in the boxes on the second and third floors came out to watch the excitement. Xiao Fengxi pinched his small pink fist and made a clicking sound. Instead of retreating, she broke into a group of big men alone. The next second, a big man screamed and was thrown out and hit the wall. Then there is the second, the third and the fourth. In less than 3 minutes, Xiao Fengxi stood in front of Bimao with a disinfectant paper towel to wipe his hands. Is there anyone else? I can play all day long. After saying that, Xiao Fengxi threw the disinfectant paper towel that had been wiped on the white-haired face. Although it was just a disinfectant wipe, It was thrown out by Xiao Fengxi with the effect of half a brick. Bai Mao was hit in the eyes and felt a heat flow along the trouser leg. He was actually scared to pee. Have you recorded enough? You didn't see the result you wanted. Are you disappointed? Xiao Fengxi came to Tang Suzu again, stretched out his legs and kicked Tang Suzu's hand into the air. The mobile phone flew high and fell vertically, and Xiao Fengxi swept and kicked the mobile phone again. Bang! With a muffled sound, Tang Suzu's mobile phone was directly nailed to the bar of the bar. This is your last warning. If you mess with me again, this mobile phone will be your end. Xiao Fengxi left with a cold warning. Li Jinian still didn't feel better after taking the medicine prescribed by the doctor, but this does not affect his appreciation of the highlight of his little wife's abuse of scum. Of course, he also saw Xiao Fengxi warning Tang Suzu. This younger brother-in-law is not good-minded. It seems that it's time to have a good chat with the second brother. Xiao Liu, go find the big brother Bai Mao. If he dares to mess with my woman again in the future, he doesn't have to mess around in the devil's capital. Xiao Liu on the other end of the mobile phone was stunned, scratching his head and asking, what's the name of the big brother Bai Mao? Li Jinian also thought for a moment and said, it's called Fulishu. Xiao Liu, Chapter 19 News from the Su family. Xiao Fengxi returned to Li's family, and the cap that followed her has never been stolen. The Viper hid in the dark. While gathering the loyalists who were willing to obey Xiao Fengxi's orders, he began to secretly spy on the cap. Back home, Li Jinian was sitting in the living room, holding a boiled egg and eating it. Hello, how long will your medicine last? Seeing that Xiao Fengxi was going back to his room, Li Jinian couldn't help asking. Haha, it turns out that the domineering president can't bear the diarrhea, so take it. Xiaofen, GXI looked at his watch and threw a red pill to Li Jinian. Li Jinian took the pill and threw it directly into his mouth. Do you trust me so much? Aren't you afraid that I'll give you another laxative? Xiao Fengxi put his hands on his chest and looked at Li Jinian playfully. Don't be afraid, I'm your man. If I die, you will become a widow. Li Jinian made a rare joke. Xiao Fengxi gave him a big white eye and went straight back to the room. Early the next morning, Xie Haiyangdong, the former head of He God of Wealth Group, came to the magic capital. Xiao Fengxi met the person in charge, who was only in his early 30s, at the Pearl Hotel. Xie Haiyangdong has a high education and is also very humble and cautious. The most important thing is that this person is very emotional. He was helped by Grandma Qie when he was the poorest, so I have been following Grandma Qie since graduation. Even though Grandma Qie disappeared for more than 10 years, Xie Haiyangdong still did not forget his origin. Our intention to help Grandma Qie take care of the God of Wealth Group. In the face of such a big cake of the God of Fortune Group, he can become a billionaire as long as he moves a little. But he didn't. Not only did he not, but Xie Haiyangdong's management of the company was also in place. Such a huge Chibil group can make almost no difference in its accounts. Grandma Qian, how is she? Xie Haiyangdong stood respectfully in front of Xiao Fengxi and asked. Fortunately, she is a little older, but she has a medical fairy around her, so it's not a problem to live to be 120 or 30 years old. Xiao Fengxi couldn't help smiling when he thought of Grandma Qie fighting with the emperor. That's good. These are the financial statements and profits of the group for 18 years. Please check them. Xie Haiyangdong nodded, and then took a thick pile of documents from his assistant and put them in front of Xiao Fengxi. Xiao Fengxi just flipped through a few pages and put the report aside. Grandma Tiny trust you, so I also trust you. I won't read this statement. Just say how much money I can dispose of at will. Xiao Fengxi said, pointing to the black gold card that Xie Haiyangdong put on the table. The specific numbers are not easy to count, but there must be trillions. Hearing the numbers in Xie Haiyangdong's mouth, even Xiao Fengxi couldn't help but tremble. There are trillions of dollars at will. If all the assets are included, it can indeed be described as R, each as the country. Well, you are still responsible for the God of Wealth Group. I'll take the card. How much is your annual salary? Put away the black gold card. Xiao Fengxi asked again. Xie Haiyangdong answered honestly. Salary plus shares, etc. About 50 million a year. Let's make it together. Just change the salary to an annual salary of 100 million. Xiao Fengxi made a very generous decision. You should be more generous to treat talents, so that talents will be willing to work hard for you. Xie Haiyangdong returned to the headquarters of the God of Fortune Group. This time, his impression of the new boss was that he was young, beautiful and generous. If you open your mouth, your salary will be doubled, which is not the courage of any boss. Xiao Fengxi sent Xie Haiyang away and wanted to ask Lin Yuanyang to go to the mall. It has been 3 days since I left Madness Island, and I finally have time to buy some clothes. He sent a message to Lin Yuanyang, and Lin Yuanyang immediately replied, with a giggle expression. The sister-in-law made an appointment to go shopping, which made Lin Yuanyang very happy. Waiting for Lin Yuanyang, Xiao Fengxi opened the dark web on his mobile phone when he was bored. This is an underground website with all kinds of information. It is also an invisible illegal place. As long as you spend money, you can buy the information you want. Xiao Fengxi spent a lot of money yesterday to ask people to find out the news of her mother's family. The Su family was originally a big family in Kyoto, but now it has no trace of existence. This is very abnormal. As soon as he logged into the dark web, Xiao Fengxi saw a private message. The other party said that the Su family mysteriously disappeared after a fire 13 years ago. There are rumors that he was killed, and more than a dozen members of the whole family were killed in the sea. Some people also said that they played a golden cicada out of the shell, and the Su family all hid back to their hometown in Li County. Xiao Fengxi looked at the private message, and his fingers holding the mobile phone turned a little white. 13 years ago, wasn't that the year her mother died? Thinking of his mother, Xiao Fengxi took a deep breath. The mother suffered too much, and after a severe mental depression, she had auditory and visual hallucinations. When she was 5 years old, her mother jumped off Madness Island and fell into the boundless sea because she was out of control. There is no one in life, and there is no corpse in death. What Xiao Fengxi heard most about his mother was revenge and going home. Therefore, if she can't be sure whether the Su family is still there or not, she will always look for it. Since the Su family may be in Li County, let's go to Li County to have a look. Chapter 20. The people of the Xiao family. I fight one by one when I see them, and fight once when I see them. Half an hour later, Lin Yuanyang found Xiao Fengxi. Both of them are 18 years old, but their temperaments are completely different. Lin Yuanyang is the kind of innocent and arrogant young lady who is not afraid of heaven and earth. Xiao Fengxi has a kind of cold airfield that strangers should not approach. Both of them are beautiful and ridiculous, but Xiao Fengxi's coldness and purity are more attractive. On the recommendation of Lin Yuanyang, the two went to a national chain mall called Hilda. On the top floor is a variety of luxury counters. A set of clothes starts in at least 6 digits. For clothing, Xiao Fengxi has no brand awareness. She thinks that as long as the clothes fit well and are comfortable, it is enough. But Lin Yuanyang is different. She grew up wearing famous brands since she was a child. In addition, he was spoiled by 2 brothers, so he developed this habit. Oh, sister-in-law, you take a walk by yourself first. I'll go to the bathroom. Just after visiting 2 luxury stores, Lin Yuanyang suddenly covered his stomach, and ran away. Xiao Fengxi shook his head and walked into a clothing store called Sakura Fall. The people here are wearing kimonos, which is typical of Yang Guo's dress at first glance. As soon as Xiao Fengxi walked in, 2 shopping guides came over enthusiastically to say hello. High-end luxury shopping guides have undergone special training. As long as you are not too shabby, there will be no dog-eyed plot. It's just that Xiao Fengxi still has a certain grudge against Yang from the bottom of his heart. After all, in the long history of China, there is such a humiliating and tragic historical existence. The undead of countless ancestors are still guarding the land of China. As juniors, they are not qualified and have no reason to say anything to forgive. So Xiao Fengxi ignored the 2 shopping guides and turned around and left. He just turned around and was a little anxious, and suddenly bumped into the 2 women behind him who wanted to enter the store. Xiao Fengxi spent all year round in the special training of life and death. Although he did not deliberately use force, he still fell on his back after hitting the 2 women. The 2 women screamed and fell on all fours in an instant. Sorry, I turned around too fast. Xiao Fengxi felt that he suddenly turned around and bumped into someone, and apologized politely. Hello, don't you wear your eyes when you go out? Damn it, I was hit by a pig when I went out today. Xiao Fengxi bent down to help. People stiffened, and his face was ugly. The 2 women on the ground were also wearing kimonos, with heavy makeup and white faces. Hello, what about you? Do you know how expensive my clothes are? You can't afford to wear this kind of clothes in your life. Inexplicable sense of superiority, the 2 women began to be unforgiving after they got up. They looked down on Xiao Fengxi when they saw that Xiao Fengxi's clothes cost only a few thousand yuan in tot. The most important thing is that the 2 of them are the owners of this luxury store. Mr. Xiao, are you alright? The shopping guide in the store saw clearly that it was his own boss who was hit and ran out quickly. However, they caught the girl who was hit. Mr. Xiao, which made Xiao Fengxi a little interested. Mr. Xiao, what is the relationship between you two and Xiao Jiushen? Xiao Fengxi changed from a humble attitude to a cold appearance. Bastard, you can also call my uncle's name. The two girls jumped like thunder at the same time, and looked at Xiao Fengxi angrily. Sister-in-law. At this time, Lin Yuanyang rushed back and was anxious when he saw several people surrounding his sister-in-law. When he saw clearly that it was the two young ladies in the second room of the Xiao family, Lin Yuanyang was not angry. She and the two girls are in the same high school. Because of family reasons, they have accumulated grudges for a long time. Now these two people are embarrassing their sister-in-law, and she can't stand it. My sister-in-law told her last time that fists are sometimes more useful than snating. So Lin Yuanyang ran over and jumped up when he was about the same distance and kicked one of the girls in the stomach. Lin Yuanyang can't do anything. If she kicks others down, she will fall to the ground herself. Although it hurts a lot, it feels super cool. Lin Yuanyang, how dare you hit me? The two ladies of the Xiao family were also stunned. They and Lin Yuanyang have had dozens of large and small conflicts, and basically every time they can't do it. At most, they only shouted and scolded each other a few times, and there has never been a physical conflict. However, this time, Lin Yuanyang took action directly, which made their sisters a little confused for a moment. Give me. Xiao's family has a lot. After being beaten, he wants to find the field. But before he finished speaking, Xiao Fengxi had already moved. A slap per person is all a mild concussion. Go to Xiao Jiushen and tell him that I, Xiao Fengxi, only need to meet the people of the Xiao family, meet one by one. After beating people, Xiao Fengxi left with Lin Yuanyang. Lin Yuanyang felt that her sister-in-law was simply handsome. If her sister-in-law was a man, she would definitely give her sister-in-law a hug. Yuanyang, are you shocking? Lin Yuanyang was still obsessed with Xiao Fengxi's dashing and domineering just now, and Tang Susu's voice suddenly came from behind him. Chapter 21 Strange Events in Li County. Second sister-in-law. Lin Yuanyang's understanding of Tang Susu is still at the level of the warm-hearted second sister-in-law. Although she also knew that Tang Susu did not deal with Xiao Fengxi, the feelings came from each other. After a long time, the two sisters-in-law will get along well. Xiao Fengxi glanced coldly at Tang Susu and said nothing. I'm shocking. I have a shocking card here. It was just charged for me by your second brother. I'll give it to you. Tang Susu also knew the fun and didn't touch Xiao Fengxi's moldy head. He stuffed Lin Yuanyang with a shopping cart and slipped away. She has already broken up with Xiao Fengxi, so she wants to attract Lin Yuanyang as much as possible. After all, Lin Yuanyang is the favorite of the group in the Li family. The next shopping went very smoothly, but Xiao Fengxi refused Lin Yuanyang's request to treat with a shopping cart. Different ways do not plot against each other. If she doesn't like Tang Susu, it's impossible to spend a penny on her, neither directly nor indirectly. It was already 10 o'clock in the evening when he returned to Li's house. Zong Hao sat in the living room and waited for the two of them to come back before going back to the room to rest. Xiao Fengxi went back to the room with his own things, but Grandma Li knocked on Xiao Fengxi's door. Grandma Li first blew a rainbow fart at Xiao Fengxi, and then took Xiao Fengxi's hand with a smile. Granddaughter-in-law, Grandma, please do you something. Grandma Li's face was full of wrinkles, but her expression was coquettish. What's the matter? Xiao Fengxi had a good impression of the old lady and asked, I want to learn Kung Fu from you. Grandma Li looked happy, and there were two backflips in front of Xiao Fengxi. In his 60s, his body is still particularly flexible. Xiao Fengxi was speechless, but how could she bear to refuse such a lovely old lady? So Xiao Fengxi called the old lady Grandma, and the old lady called at her master Xiao Fengxi. Early the next morning, Xiao Fengxi said something to Zong Hao and set off for Li County. It belongs to Nanchang City, and it takes a whole day to get away from the devil. However, as soon as Xiao Fengxi set off with his front foot, Li Jinian also set off for Li County. Of course, it's not that he is worried about Xiao Fengxi. As for the girl's strength, sending her a bodyguard is equivalent to dragging her back. Li Jinian went there because one of his brothers died there. In the evening, Li Jinian and Xiao Fengxi arrived in Li County almost at the same time. Xiao Fengxi first found a business hotel to stay, and Li Jinian went directly to a large stall. Although Li County is an agricultural county, it is still quite lively at night. The stall was overcrowded, and Li Jinian saw a familiar figure at a glance. It was a big fat man with no hair on his head, only a small beard on the back of his head. Boss, sir, in Li Jinian. The fat man stood up quickly. Li Jinian waved his hand and signaled the fat man to sit down. Lord Pig, how did the monkey sacrifice? As soon as he sat down, Li Jinayan picked up the liquor bottle and blew a bottle of high-altitude wine directly. He has undergone strict alcohol tolerance training, and he doesn't feel anything after drinking a bottle of liquor. Boss, the monkey was sacrificed on night duty. This is a photo. The ward pig handed the mobile phone to Li Jinayan. In the photo, he is a thin man with his eyes open and 4 teeth on his neck. The corpse was pale and ridiculous, as if the blood in the whole body had been drained in an instant. Have you left any clues? Li Jinayan frowned and asked. He doesn't believe in legends like vampires. There was no trace of fighting at the scene, and there was no sound. The monkey was found the next morning, and in recent days, the number of strange deaths in Lee County has been increasing. Ward Pig's serious answer, whatever he is, pull him out for me. Li Jinayan's eyes were like ice, and the murderous aura around him even made the guests at several tables around him feel cold. At this moment, there was a sudden sound on the street. Then, a group of filial people appeared on the street. The person in front of him was blowing a whisper, and a white cloth was tied to the whisper. Behind are 2 soul streamers, and the filial song in the middle holds a black and white photo. In the middle of the team is a coffin carried by 8 people, and the huge gold-plated birthday characters are very strange in the light. The coffin was followed by filial sons and virtuous grandchildren, crying all the way and scattering paper money. This is the rule of Lee County. People who die can only be buried at night. Those people are just like monkeys. Li Jinayan looked at the coffin and asked. The ward pig nodded with a solemn face. Well, recently, more and more people have died in this way, and the official has not found useful clues for a long time. There are rumors everywhere in the masses, and public opinion is gradually getting out of control. Public opinion is about to get out of control, which is the fundamental reason why the superior's use of Li Jinayan. On the other side, Xiao Fengxi, who had just checked into the hotel and was about to rest, heard the cry from outside the window. She opened the window and looked out, and saw 2 teams of funerals at night. She didn't care much, but felt that it was a coincidence that the 2 families had 2 coffins together. But what she didn't notice was that just after she closed the window and went back to bed, a rickety figure landed on the roof of her hotel. Chapter R. A glimpse of shock. The mobile phone makes a vibration sound, which is a message from a viper. Powerful. After reading the information, Xiao Fengxi looked up at the ceiling. A day of boat and car fatigue made her too lazy to take the initiative. 4 words of improvisation were sent to Viper, and she took a rest. Of course, the premise that she doesn't take seriously is that she has strong strength. In the night, the rickety figure on the roof jumped down from a 20-story position. Viper watched secretly, and there was no information about this person in his memory. The weather is a little sultry now, and some people leave the windows open at night when they rest. The figure flashed in front of an open window on the 13th floor, and the whole person disappeared. The Viper didn't see any ropes. The man seemed to be able to fly, which was particularly strange. After about 3 minutes, a figure burst out of the window. It's not the same as the rickety look when I went in just now. The figure that came out was much taller and straighter. Before the Viper could think about it, the figure had disappeared into the night. People are curious, and Viper, as an ace killer, is no exception. And he wanted to know if he was a person who had just entered and came out, and what had happened in that room in those few minutes. So after waiting for a few minutes, the Viper sneaked into the room. But as soon as he entered the room, the Viper smelled a trace of blood. He didn't turn on the light and took out a small handlight to shine. It's just that the picture he saw under the light really made him take a breath of cold air. The person on the bed is a bald man, and it can be judged that he is not a good person from his face. Now the bald man is dead, his whole body is dry, and there are clear teeth marks on the side of his neck. At the first glance of this picture, the word vampire flashed out of Viper's mind involuntarily. The corpse was still holding a ripped pistol in his hand. He should have wanted to resist after sensing something. Obviously, this guy is not a good guy. Take out your mobile phone and take a picture of the corpse. And the Viper immediately sent it to Xiao Fengxi. This Li County should be not peaceful. It was the next day when Xiao Fengxi saw the message. She stayed on the Mad God Island for 15 years and saw many kinds of monsters, but she had never seen such a murderer. When I went downstairs for breakfast, the hotel was surrounded by the police. However, the police came and left quickly, as if they wanted to deliberately hide something. Although Xiao Fengxi was not interested in this, he still heard a lot of rumors during the meal. Some of them have practical basis, but more of them are speculations. She didn't want to care about this. After dinner, she was going to the Lee County police station to inquire about the Su family. The Su family of more than a dozen people came back from Kyoto and left traces anyway. After dinner, Xiao Fengxi left the store. She passed by a ragged woman and smelled a sour and smelly smell. When Xiao Fengxi left, the ragged man looked back at Xiao Fengxi's back. It can't be hers. My sister is 40 years old now. The female beggar muttered to herself and didn't turn around until Xiao Fengxi's figure disappeared from her sight. She skillfully cleaned up the leftovers of the guests at the table, and naturally she was scolded a few words during the period. The woman didn't say anything. She just nodded vigorously and smiled, and her posture was humble to the dust. After cleaning up a lot of leftovers, the woman left with the bag. Coincidentally, she saw Xiao Fengxi, who was waiting for a taxi. Again, maybe she was too serious. The woman was almost hit by a van when she was crossing the road. The sharp brake sound caught Xiao Fengxi's attention, and her eyes also flashed on the woman's face. Although the woman's clothes were torn, her face was washed clean. In a trance, Xiao Fengxi seemed to see his mother. That look, that face. Did. Before Xiao Fengxi recovered from the shock, there was a harsh sound of horns on the street. This time it was a large bus, which was not fast or slow, blocking Xiao Fengxi's sight for less than 2 seconds. When the bus passed, Xiao Fengxi couldn't see the figure in the crowd. The taxi came, and Xiao Fengxi got in the car and went to the police station. Along the way, her mind was full of the picture she had just glimpsed, and she couldn't calm down for a long time. The staff of the police station are very conscientious and kind, but Xiao Fengxi did not get any valuable clues. It seems that we can only check it little by little. She logged in to the dark web again, and the contact person found some photos of the Su family. At this time, many people on the dark web already know that a gold owner spent a lot of money to investigate the Su family, a former rich family in Kyoto. Therefore, many people contacted Xiao Fengxi in private messages and wanted to sell the news. After browsing, Xiao Fengxi really got a very useful news. Her mother has a twin sister. That is, Xiao Fengxi has a little aunt. However, this aunt is unlucky. She lost it as soon as she was born when she was a child. It was hard to find it when it grew up, and the Su family suddenly changed again. It is said that all the people died in the fire that year, together with the Su family. Xiao Fengxi held his mobile phone, and a shocking glance suddenly appeared in his mind. Could that woman be her aunt? Chapter 23 Auntie, I'm so lonely. Thinking of this possibility, Xiao Fengxi was both excited and worried. She hurried back to the hotel and turned on her laptop. After a few operations, Xiao Fengxi directly hacked the traffic system of Li County. Through the road monitoring system, she was probably located in a small area. Without thinking about it, Xiao Fengxi set off directly. That place doesn't look big, but the environment is quite complicated. Xiao Fengxi turned around it for a long time, but he couldn't find the woman. The night gradually fell again, and a full moon hung the starry sky. Xiao Fengxi was still looking around when a rickety figure suddenly flashed in front of his eyes. The next second, her way was blocked. Xiao Fengxi looked at the rickety figure and frowned slightly. What on earth is this? The hair covered half of the face, and the lower half of the face was extremely white. The body is ruddy, just like a severely malnourished person. The strangest thing is that Xiao Fengxi saw a pair of red eyes through the man's hair. What kind of person? Xiao Fengxi asked coldly. The figure didn't move in place, and his red eyes stared at Xiao Fengxi, as if he was thinking about something. There was a tangled look on the pale face, and the teeth in the mouth clicked. I want blood. The sudden shout caused the pet dogs of the surrounding residents to bark wildly. The rickety man also rushed to Xiao Fengxi as if he had made some kind of decision. Even Xiao Fengxi was so fast that he felt incredible. Her eyes were sharp, and her figure flashed aside. The viper also jumped out in the dark, carrying an arc whip in his hand. This thing is a bit evil. Don't kill him. Xiao Fengxi gave an order. The viper nodded, and the two then launched an attack on the rickety figure. The speed of that thing is indeed very fast, and even some professionally trained personnel may not be able to compete with it. But today he met the ace killer of the world's top killer organization and Xiao Fengxi from Madness Island. Therefore, after a fight, Xiao Fengxi saw the opportunity and punched the man on the head. She was born with amazing strange power, coupled with systematic intensive training. It is no exaggeration to describe her as being able to kill a cow with one punch. Although he didn't use all his strength, this punch was enough to make a normal master lose his resistance. But what they met were not normal people. The man was punched away, hit the wall and then fell to the ground. But the dust dispersed, and the man patted the dirt on his body and stood up again. Staring at Xiao Fengxi's neck, the man said hoarsely, I want blood. Word by word, the man rushed up again with his teeth and claws. Slap! The viper's arc whip left a whistle in the air and wrapped directly around the man's neck. It's just that the man seemed to have fallen into a state of madness, and he couldn't dodge. There was only Xiao Fengxi's white and slender swan neck in his eyes. In the end, the man was subdued by the arc whip. The viper kicked the man down and stepped on the man's neck. Say, what are you? Viper asked. But Xiao Fengxi's eyes were staring at the man's pupils. There is only a little black pupil the size of a sesame in the red eyes. When you open your mouth, there are 4 extremely sharp teeth up and down. He has no consciousness of himself. Suddenly, a female voice sounded in the dark. Then, the woman who looked like her mother came out at a glance of Xiao Fengxi during the day. Is your surname Su? Putting the rest aside, Xiao Fengxi quickly asked the question he was most concerned about. Su Nianrao nodded, and tears came out of her eyes in an instant. The blood relationship is so wonderful. Before Xiao Fengxi opened his mouth, Su Nianrao knew that she was looking for him. 15 years ago, the Su family found her through various connections and brought her back to the Su family. Su Nianrao also knows her true background. She also has a twin sister, but she left home because of a major marriage and a family conflict. Between love and family, the young Esther resolutely chose love. But then my sister mysteriously disappeared. In the 4th year of her sister's disappearance, she really returned to the Su family, so neither sister met. Unlucky, 2 years after Su Nianrao returned to the Su family, the Su family encountered a serious crisis. The father used the golden cicada to escape the shell, which barely saved the life of the family. Since then, the Su family has become the lowest people in society overnight from a rich family in Kyoto. This hiding is more than 10 years. My name is Su Nianrao. Su Nianzi, who are you? Although she had a guess in her heart, Su Nianrao still asked. Su Nianzi is my mother. Xiao Fengxi's voice suddenly choked. She suddenly felt so wronged. Although the old monsters on the Madness Island are all good to her, but some feelings are irreplaceable. She has grown up from a small milk bowl to the present, and even bears the deep blood feud of her mother before she was born. Only she herself understands how white tears she has secretly shed in countless nights through the hardships of the past 10 years. Looking at Su Nianrao shed 2 lines of tears, Xiao Fengxi took the initiative to walk over. She hugged Su Nianrao and shouted, Auntie, I'm so lonely. Chapter 24 The Origin of Blood-Seeking Monsters. Don't cry, your mother. Su Nianrao gently patted Xiao Fengxi's back and comforted her softly. She passed away when I was 5 years old, Xiao Fengxi said. However, Su Nianrao shook her head. I have a hunching that no matter what happens to your mother, she is still alive. The sentence made Xiao Fengxi's heart recoil, and she couldn't help nodding. Auntie, you said that he is no longer a human category. What's going on? Xiao Fengxi pointed to the red-eyed man who was firmly locked by the electric arc whip and asked. It's a long story. Why don't we go home and talk about it? Su Nianrao said gently. Okay, go home. Xiao Fengxi agreed and felt that he had a real support. The red-eyed man was taken away by a viper. Xiao Fengxi followed Su Nianrao to a dilapidated farmyard. Su Nianrao did not alarm the other Su family members, but took Xiao Fengxi to his room. Under a dim yellow light, Su Nianrao took Xiao Fengxi's hand and said softly, 14 years ago, I just returned to the Su family. At that time, the Su family was rich and powerful, and it was a rich family in Kyoto. The only disadvantage is that the only man in the Su family, that is, your uncle, suffers from a congenital disease. This disease is rare in the world and has no cure. Your grandparents and your mother both studied medicine. After your mother ran away from home, your grandparents did not give up studying this disease. Later, he lived up to his efforts. Your grandfather modified an artificial gene in the genes of blood-sucking bats. After a lot of extrapolation simulations and experiments, your grandfather injected your uncle with that artificial gene. It is also the world's first human experiment. There is a lot of risk in this, but your grandfather has no choice. But to my surprise, your uncle has recovered. Not only has he recovered, but his physical quality has also been greatly enhanced. All kinds of senses are also many times sharper than ordinary people. The whole family is very happy. If you want to find your mother again, the family will be reunited, and it will be perfect. But the good times did not last long. Your uncle's health appeared abnormal 2 months later. He began to be afraid of the light. His eyes turned red, his pupils narrowed, and his skin turned white. The most terrible thing is that he began to have a great desire for blood. Your grandfather knows that this must be caused by the blood-sucking bat gene in the artificial gene, but he can't help it. The medicine has been injected, and he can't watch your uncle's life rather than death. So your grandfather synthesized artificial blood again. Whenever your uncle gets sick, drink some artificial blood to relieve pain. But artificial blood is not human blood after all, which also requires great self-control for your uncle himself. After a few months, your uncle gradually controlled the restlessness of the blood-sucking bat gene in his body. He can also live like a normal person. At this time, your grandfather's partner found him. The man was very smart and saw the powerful business opportunity in this artificial gene. Once this artificial gene is mass-produced, it will bring countless wealth. But your grandfather knows the horror of the artificial gene. That thing is not perfect and absolutely cannot be put into mass production. In the end, the two had a big quarrel and broke up unhappily. But your grandfather still underestimated the temptation of money. That guy couldn't help but join forces with powerful capital to force your grandfather's rights in the group. The Su family went bankrupt overnight. All your grandfather's research has been dominated. Fortunately, we escaped here with a golden cicada with a fire. In a flash of more than 10 years, that guy has earned a lot of money through artificial genes. But people's hearts are not enough to swallow snakes and elephants. That guy actually resorts artificial genes. Yes, the version of artificial genes can fundamentally change one's constitution and cure some rare diseases. The sequelae brought by artificial genes in the production of this batch of drugs is no longer perfunctory for our artificial blood. The first batch of Arsha customers were all out of control and became the blood-sucking monsters you just saw. Su Nianrao kept recalling in her mind. She pinched Xiao Fengxi's little hand and sighed and fell into silence. Is my uncle still alive? Xiao Fengxi held his aunt's hand and asked softly. He is alive. But after the defeat of the Su family, he has no strength to provide him with artificial blood. So I can only lock him in a room with an iron chain to survive. Speaking of his younger brother, Su Nianrao was heartbroken. It was a kind-hearted big boy, but he was tortured by fate. I also know some medical skills. Maybe I have a way to make my uncle healthy. Xiao Fengxi didn't say too much. She learns medicine from the medical fairy and the poisonous saint. It is not too easy to treat some difficult diseases. Sunia gently and Xiao Fengxi urged their niece to talk for a long time. In the moonlight, two more people came to this area. Li Jingyan's identity is a major secret. Therefore, when performing tasks, you always use a mask to show people. Now he is dressed like a streetwalker, with a big gold chain and a small gold watch, and an extra matchmaker mole on his face. As soon as he entered this area, the ward pig who followed Li Jingyan noticed something. Boss, there has just been a battle here. Chapter 25. From now on, you don't have to hide anymore. Along some traces of fighting and some small clues, the ward pig finally determined the two directions. Boss, it seems that there are traces of two people leaving. One went to the west, and the other went to the community. Which one should we chase? The ward pig scratched his fat face and asked. Let's chase this one to the suburbs. With the lesson of the monkey's front car, Li Jingyan will no longer say anything and act separately. He and the ward pig chased to the west, which was the direction where the viper left. In fact, according to the professional literacy of the top ace killer of viper, he should not leave any clues that can be traced. But if Xiao Fengxi doesn't let him kill this monster, it's a little difficult to deal with. Although he knocked out the monster, the guy's saliva kept flowing. In the end, the viper just ignored it and carried the man to a hidden temple. As soon as he settled down and closed his eyes for a while, he heard two footsteps from far and near. The viper immediately hid in the dark and saw a streetwalker wearing a small watch with a gold chain and a big fat man. However, viper can determine from the breath of these two people that neither of them is ordinary people. Hidden in the dark, viper sent a message to Xiao Fengxi. Stop her, hazard murder who want that monster. Waiting for Xiao Fengxi to reply to the message, the viper left secretly. Xiao Fengxi said that there are many such monsters, and if necessary in the future, J. must catch them again. Therefore, the viper was too lazy to expose it and left directly. Li Jingyan and the ward pig found the monster and caught the ready-made one and went back to study it. It's just a question about who caught the monster and threw it there. At 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, Su Nianrao took Xiao Fengxi to the west room. There was a big lock hanging on the door, and not even a light was turned on inside. When the door opened, Xiao Fengxi covered his nose. The sour smell is very pungent, just like the room is full of rotten corpses. Bang! As Su Nianrao turned on the light, Xiao Fengxi saw a bed. The room was very chilly, and the rotten and sour smell came from the man on the bed. This is your little uncle, Su Nianwu. Su Nianrao's voice choked, and her eyes were full of heartache when she looked at her brother, suffering from the backlash of the blood-sucking bat gene in artificial genes all the year round. Su Nianwu has been tortured. His whole body is thin and skin and bones, and he looks like a skeleton wreck. Even if he saw someone coming in, Su Nyanwu was still expressionless. In the deep eye sockets, there was no light in the red eyes. The only action is to subconsciously block the sudden light. He was cured of his original illness, but the side effects of the drug made him inhuman. Xiaoxi, go and have a look. Can you cure him? Su Nyanrao walked to Su Nyanwu's side first and gently took her brother's hand. More than 10 years of imprisonment has completely flattened Su Nyanwu's aggression. As long as he doesn't let him smell the blood, he will always be so calm. Well, let me have a look. Xiao Fengxi walked over and grabbed Su Nyanwu's left hand to check the pulse. There is hope in Su Nyanrao's eyes, but there is more despair. Let's not talk about Xiao Fengxi's medical skills. At that time, my father had a huge medical team and advanced scientific research institutions. But later, he didn't watch his own son become like this. I can cure IT, but the process may be longer. After taking the pulse, Xiao Fengxi said softly, Su Nyanwu's problems are no longer 1 or 2. It can be said that it is a miracle that this person is still alive. Really? Su Nyanrao took Xiao Fengxi's hand with tears in her eyes. Xiao Fengxi nodded, and then the two left Su Nyanwu's room. That night, Xiao Fengxi was hugged by his aunt to sleep. In the dream, she returned to her mother's arms. The night resets, and the dawn rises. Xiao Fengxi woke up early, and Su Nyanrao took her to see her grandparents. Those were two gray-haired old men. Although they were not seriously ill, their long-term malnutrition made the two elderly people very thin. It is said that they are close to each other. After seeing Xiao Fengxi, the old two cried several times and fell into a coma. Xiao Fengxi's eyes were also red, and he said sorry to the two old people on behalf of his mother. At that time, the mother should have been blinded by the so-called love. However, the one who abandoned his family and chose without hesitation is a complete scumbag. How ironic it is. Xiaoxi, you talk to your grandparents, and I'm going to get some breakfast. Su Nyanrao came over with a broken basket and said with an awkward face. Xiao Fengxi knew that the aunt's so-called breakfast was to pick up other people's leftovers. Auntie, I'll go with you. From now on, you don't have to hide anymore. I will help you keep back what the Su family lost. Xiao Fengxi clenched his fist and said firmly, she is the richest man in the world. How can she let her aunt pick up garbage to eat? Chapter 26. I'm going to smash her rice bowl. Xiao Fengxi and Su Nyanrao went out together. First, Xiao Fengxi went to a good shopping mall and directly changed Su Nyanrao's full body dress. Then change your hairstyle and buy jewelry and cosmetics. Xiaoxi, these things are too expensive. Let's just buy cheaper ones. Su Nyanrao looked at the labels of those things and only felt a burst of pain. She was kidnapped when she was a child and has been growing up in the countryside. When he returned to the Su family, he fell into the dust again before he enjoyed the glory and wealth for a long time. There is no one in the world who is really thrifty to break a penny into 2 petals of flowers. He is just afraid of poverty. It doesn't matter. I'm super rich, the richest man in the world. Xiao Fengxi said very seriously. It's just that. When she heard this in Su Nyanrao's ear, it was the child who was comforting him. She must have said this on purpose because she was afraid that she would not be willing to spend money. An 18-year-old girl can support herself in society. However, Su Nyanrao just smiled gently and chose cheap things when shopping. Xiaoxi, the Dong family is very strong now, and it can be ranked in the 5 major families in Kyoto. Don't we really have to hide anymore? Once they know about the existence of our family, it will be very dangerous. When the two went home, they chatted, and Su Nyanrao couldn't help but worry. That's the Dong family, the giant who controls the entire northern medical industry in China. Now the Su family is not even an ant in the eyes of others. Does my niece really have the strength to protect them? Auntie, don't worry, I never talk big. If I hadn't let you enjoy the feeling of revenge step by step, I could have bankrupted the Dong family with one phone call. Xiao Fengxi found his grandfather's family, and he was in a good mood. Unconsciously, she said more than before, and the anger on her body was much less. It's just that Xiao Fengxi's serious truth can't be believed by Su Nyanrao. How can a phone call bankrupt the Dong family? But whether Su Nyanrao believes it or not, her attitude towards Xiao Fengxi has always been gentle. To be honest, she didn't want to hide for a long time, because she has been hiding for more than 10 years. What about the result? They didn't wait for the Dong family to suffer any retribution. On the contrary, their victims are getting worse and worse. Okay, my aunt listens to you. Touching Xiao Fengxi's hair intimately, Su Nyanrao showed a spoiled smile. They bought a little too many things, so they hired someone to send them home. Breakfast was packed by Xiao Fengxi in a steamed dumpling shop. It's not tall, but the Su family's food is particularly delicious. For more than 10 years, they did not dare to go out or work to earn money for fear of exposing their identities. At first, The family made a living by picking up rags. Later, the old two became old and relied on Sunai and Rao to survive alone. Not to mention having a serious meal. It's good to have another meal after this meal. During the family meal, Sunai and Rao gave a suggestion not to avoid it in the future. She didn't think about revenge. She just wanted to be honest and upright. The two old men also knew that they had embarrassed their children over the years, so they nodded and agreed. No matter what the result is, as long as the family is together. At noon, Xiao Fengxi and Sunai and Rao went to the most high-end community in Li County to see the house. It is said that the fallen leaves return to the roots, and the two old people don't want to go anywhere else. Xiao Fengxi spent more than 5 million yuan in total after tossing and turning in the afternoon. However, this money is not even a penny for her, who controls the God of Wealth Group. In the evening, the family moved into a spacious and bright new house. Xiao Fengxi also hired several servants to take care of the two old people and his little uncle. Sunai and Wu took a shower, changed into new clothes, and sat quietly on the bed in his room. Although his illness is too obvious, it can still be seen that he is handsome. In the evening, in order to celebrate the rebirth of the Su family, Xiao Fengxi took his grandparents and aunts out for a big meal. Sunai and Wu can only rest at home for health reasons. Li County is not big, and there are only 2 larger hotels. Finally, Xiao Fengxi and his party of 4 people came to the Wuhu Hotel in Li County. The service here is very good. A waiter enthusiastically took them into the private room. The family ordered food. While chatting and waiting for the food, it suddenly became lively outside. At this time, the waiter happened to deliver tea, and the situation outside was seen by everyone. Xiao Fengxi's grandfather's name was Su Lanshan. The old man was stunned when he saw a woman outside, and then the smile on his face disappeared. After the waiter left, Xiao Fengxi asked Su Lanshan, "Grandpa, what did you see just now?" Su Lanshan, the woman outside just now seems to be Dong Shiji's daughter. She is now a big star in the entertainment industry, not to mention how dashing she is. If the Su family is okay, your aunt can also enjoy that kind of life. Su Lanshan looked at Sunai and Rao, with guilt in his eyes. Dong's family, big star. Xiao Fengxi was stunned for a moment and stood up after sending a message. Xiaoxi, what are you going to do? Sunai and Rao also stood up. Xiao Fengxi smiled, and 2 small dimples appeared on his innocent little face. Don't do anything. I went out and smashed the rice bowl of the big star Miss Dong. Chapter 27 unexpectedly bullied his little wife. Xiao Fengxi actually wanted to show his strength in front of the Su family. Otherwise, even if the Su family no longer hides, they will have no idea. Knowing that Miss Dong was in the entertainment industry, Xiao Fengxi directly sent the message to Xie Dong. Of course, what stars are most afraid of is the capital of all evil. Xie Dong replied very quickly. God of Wealth Group has 3 top investment companies in China. The film and television industry is part of the business of one of the investment companies. As long as it is a money-making film, there is a shadow of the investment company of the God of Fortune Group behind it. And this Miss Dong is the top of today. So it is impossible to have nothing to do with the God of Wealth Group. Xie Dong also explained it on purpose. No matter how high Miss Dong's status in the entertainment industry is, she is just an actor. If Xiao Fengxi has any ideas, you can pick them at will, because as long as they have capital, they can hold out the second and third Miss Dong anytime and anywhere. So Xiao Fengxi walked out of the box and straight to Miss Dong, who was surrounded by many bodyguards. What are you doing? Stop. As a result, a bodyguard stopped Xiao Fengxi. If you want to sign and take a group photo, go there and line up. Miss Dong will live in Li County these days. Another security guard shouted at Xiao Fengxi. Xiao Fengxi laughed at that time and said loudly, "Sorry, I don't want to sign. I'm going to the bathroom." I signed the name, and the toilet paper was wasted. Her voice was not loud, but it directly attracted everyone is onlookers. Dong Yu was receiving the camera of fans and the media. Hearing Xiao Fengxi's words, his eyelids couldn't help jumping. She immediately remembered what her agent had just told her, saying that her popularity had dropped a little recently, and she asked her to find an opportunity to expose herself. That is, hype. Get out of the way. The girl just wants to go to the bathroom. She ordered the bodyguard to get out of the way, and even she herself took a step forward. One can be closer to the camera, and the other is to give way to the road behind. The big star gave way to passers-by, and her pattern suddenly went up. Xiao Fengxi doesn't care, but he really wants to go to the bathroom. However, when she passed behind Dong Yu suddenly screamed and made his whole body lie on the ground. Dong Yu's scream surprised everyone present. "Little girl, I kindly gave way to you, But why did you deliberately push me down? Dong Yu lay on the ground and knelt around to question Xiao Fengxi aggrievedly. Her prone posture was very beautiful. She didn't get up for a long time and let the cameras of the media and fans take crazy photos. At this moment, she even thought of the front page title of Min Entertainment News. The top actress gave way to passers-by and was pushed to the ground. The realistic version of the farmer and the snake. I push you. Are you addicted to acting? Xiao Fengxi was not in a hurry to go to the bathroom. He put his hands on his chest and looked down at Dong Yu's performance. What nonsense are you talking about? Obviously, it was you who pushed my house behind my back. Otherwise, how could she suddenly fall down? Dong Yu's agent jumped out. She cooperated with Dong Yu for nearly 10 years. As soon as Dong Yu pouted her buttocks, she knew what Dong Yu was about. Sister Sammy, don't be cruel to her. Maybe she didn't mean it. Dong Yu said softly and climbed up gently on the ground. One is red-faced and the other is white-faced. Anyway, it is said inside and outside that Xiao Fengxi deliberately bumped into Dong Yu. Xiao Fengxi simply stopped talking. He picked up his mobile phone and poked. When those reporters and Dong Yu's fans were angry and ready to make trouble, Xiao Fengxi took up a video on her mobile phone. The video was taken by a camera in the hotel lobby. It happened to be a picture of Dong Yu lying down by himself when Xiao Fengxi passed behind Dong Yu. The distance between the two sides is at least more than 10 centimeters. Xiao Fengxi did not meet Dong Yu. Slap in the face. Slap naked in the face. Dong Yu's embarrassed face turned red. But now he can only open his eyes and talk nonsense. I just felt that you hit me from behind. You must have been too fast and the camera didn't catch it. Even she didn't believe what she said. But she is the top in the entertainment industry. And the most important thing in the top is brain damaged fans. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm going to do next is much more cruel than hitting you. Xiao Fengxi spread his hands, and the smile on his face was innocent. Apologize. Apologize to the goddess YOU. Some brain damaged fans under the stage couldn't wait to show and began to loudly blame Xiao Fengxi. Just as 7 out of 10 people at the scene began to blame Xiao Fengxi, 2 more people entered the hotel. One is a streetwalker with a big gold chain and a small gold watch, and the other is a white and fat man. Li Jinian and Watts who studied the blood-sucking monster for a day and a night, but nothing was resolved. Finally, they transferred people directly to Kyoto Medical College to see if they could get some useful clues. Why is she here? As soon as he entered the hotel, Li Jinian saw Xiao Fengxi. The little girl's upper body is a pure white short sleeve and a blue jeans lower body, which looks innocent and innocent. Looking at the crowd around again, Li Jinian's face turned black. These scumbags are actually accusing his little wife, which is simply too bullying. Chapter 28 Boss, you don't seem to be as strong as that little girl. When he saw Dong Yu being held up by the stars in the crowd, Li Jinian frowned. His youth group is also involved in the film and television industry. Some time ago, I just cast a movie, which is a famous director Ji Gang's ancient costume mythological film. I remember that Dong Yu is the heroine of 10,000 Years at a Glance. But no matter what kind of star you are, don't blame him for being polite if you dare to bully his little wife. What are you shouting about? Get out of the way. Anyway, he is now in the image of a street sneaker, and Li Jinian roared without the image of a domineering president. The word pig didn't look like a good person in the first place, but now it also follows his boss to pretend to be a tiger, which looks even scarier. It's just that the word pig is a little puzzled. The boss has always been cold. How could he take the initiative to meddle in other people's affairs? And it's also a girl's business, which simply refreshed his original understanding of Li Jinian. Some reporters and Dong Yu's brain-damaged fans were shocked by the sudden shouts and unconsciously gave way. On the contrary, Dong Yu's bodyguard is still a little professional. The word pig knocked over too directly with his hands, and the others just let out of the way. Li Jinian staggered to Dong Yu and looked back at his little wife. Dong Yu, right. As a public figure, he actually played tricks in public. He did this to speculate on his own popularity. Li Jinian broke Dong Yu's mind with a word. What kind of onion are you? It's not your turn to comment on Miss Dong's affairs. With a look of Dong Yu, her agent Sammy jumped out and barked wildly. Bang! But this time, Sammy's barking was not the compromise of the other party, but a solid mouth. In the world of word pigs, there is no saying that they don't. He hit women. As long as you yell at him, whether you are a man or a woman, fight first. How did you talk to my boss? The role of the word pig as a member of society is simply her true appearance, which suddenly seduced everyone present. What qualifications do I have? I'll tell you now. Li Jinian took out his mobile phone from the small leather bag under his armpit and directly found Xiao Wu's number. Hello, I called the director of Jigen and changed the heroine of the play Wang Yan for me. otherwise I wouldn't vote for this play. Little Lizo over there agreed. As the boss' special assistant, he never asked why. He is a ruthless executor of orders. Xiao Fengxi didn't expect to kill such a Chen Bitajing halfway. He looked at Li Jingyan several times with curious eyes. In the end, Xiao Fengxi couldn't find the information about this person in his memory, so he simply didn't think about it. It's just that this guy is a little in the way. She wants to smash Dong Yu's livelihood, instead of simply letting Dong Yu lose the heroin. Haha, this is really a big deal in the world. And you also withdrew the heroin. Who do you think you are? An investor. Although Sammy was slapped, she couldn't help laughing. Jiang is a frontline director in China, and the only one who can order him like this is the investor. And it is also the kind of super investor. This man looks like a street sneaker. How can he be an investor who invests hundreds of millions of dollars in movies? Ding ling ling. Before Sammy's laughter fell, her mobile phone rang like a life-tending ring. I don't know why, Sammy suddenly felt a little flustered. Seeing the director's name on the screen, Sammy's hand trembled a little. Hello, tell Dong Yu that her 10,000-year-old heroin has been removed. Do. Sammy didn't say a word, and the other party hung up the phone. Sammy was confused. And Dong Yu was also confused. Dong Yu's brain-damaged fans and reporters were even more confused. They didn't know what their bodies had done, and the heroin was cut off. Apologize. As long as this girl forgives you, I will let the director use you again. Li Jingyan said, touching the big gold chain around his neck. She bumped into me. Why should I apologize? Just because you are rich and powerful. Isn't it just the heroine of a play? Do you think I will be short of acting? Dong Yu was hard-mouthed and resolutely refused to apologize. With so many media and fans, she just showed sympathy for being bullied by Capital. Moreover, as the money tree of Piangxing Pictures, it doesn't matter behind her. What else did Li Jingyan say? Xiao Fengxi couldn't wait. All the dishes on her side are served. If you delay a little longer, the dishes will be cold. She sent a message to the investment company of Huaxia of the God of Fortune Group. At this time, the other side has already started to act. Don't apologize, because I don't accept your apology. From now on, all your endorsements will be cancelled. Variety shows, reality shows, various competitions, TV series, movies and other resources will be cut off its all. Simply put, you have been blocked. This is what Xiao Fengxi said. I don't have any other ability, but I'm rich, but I don't like you. Also, go back and say something to your father Dong Shiji. His retribution is coming. After saying that, Xiao Fengxi took Su Nianrao's arm directly and went back to the box. Dong Yu's phone began to be bombarded wildly, and he could only live in embarrassment. Looking at the door of Xiao Fengxi's box being closed, the ward pig looked at Li Jingyan. Boss, you don't seem to be as strong as that little girl. Chapter 29 Dong Shiji's Beautiful Dream. Hearing the words of the ward pig, Li Jingyan only felt a little pain in his chest. It seems that he can't spoil his little wife. Let's go, eat. I'm going to bed tonight. You go out to catch monsters for me. Don't want too much, just catch 3. Li Jingyan said coldly and went to the box on the second floor. The ward pig looked at the boss's back, raised his hand and gave himself a big mouth. Let your mouth tell you the truth. In Xiao Fengxi's box, Su Lanshan looked at Xiao Fengxi deeply. Xiaoxi, can you tell your grandfather how you have survived these years? Haha, I was born on a small island. Later, several old guys lacked apprentices, so why accepted me. Then I have been learning all kinds of things since I can walk. I can do medicine, poison, martial arts, and even strange arts a little bit. Xiao Fengxi chose what he could say. She knew that her grandfather had nothing else to do, but she couldn't help but be curious about her identity. Grandpa, just put 100 hearts in it. I'm not afraid of the Dong family, nor the Xiao family. My mother and the Su family is deep hatred. I bear it. Xiao Fengxi smiled and showed his dimples. Obviously, she looks like a pure and lovely little girl next door, but what she said was extremely domineering. Well, before I die, if I could see the Dong family and the Xiao family who bullied your mother, I would have died. Su Lanshan picked up the wine glass on the table and drank it all. The Su family ate this meal very comfortably, because they saw Xiao Fengxi's strength. One sentence can block the top of today's entertainment industry, which is not something that ordinary people can obey. When Xiao Fengxi paid the bill, the waiter told her that someone had already bought the bill. But no matter what Xiao Fengxi asked, the waiter didn't say who it was. Xiao Fengxi simply didn't ask. On the way, a viper sent a message. It was the 2 people who took the monster away yesterday who said they would pay the bill for Xiao Fengxi. Anyway, I don't know him. Xiao Fengxi is too lazy to waste brain cells. In the courtyard of a villa in Li County, Dong Yu entered the house with a stray face. Dong Shiji, who was drinking tea in the yard, saw his precious daughter with a smile on his face. You, I can see you. Since you became a big star, it's hard for me, a father, to see you. Dong Shiji smiled and took his precious daughter's hand and sat down. What's the matter? Who made my family you angry? After sitting down, Dong Shiji saw that Dong Yu's face was not good. That, I was blocked. Dong Yu was still a little confused until now. She didn't know what was going on, and she was blocked by the whole line. All kinds of luxury endorsements were withdrawn, and reservations for various variety movies and TV series were cancelled. Even her previous masterpieces have been removed from the shelves, and Dong Yu himself doesn't even know who he has offended. She activated all the relationships to find out who Xiao Fengxi was, but the replies she got were all unknown. But that man's name is Xiao Fengxi, and he seems to have a grudge against her father. When Dong Shiji heard that his daughter had been blocked, he also looked unbelievable. Although she doesn't pay attention to the entertainment industry, Dong Yu can be regarded as the top of the entertainment industry, coupled with the support of her own Dong's group. Who can block her so easily? Girl, you're not kidding your father, are you? The boss of Piangxing Film is my old friend. It's impossible for anyone to block you. Ding ling ling. As soon as Dong Shiji finished his words, Dong Yu's mobile phone rang. Dong Yu picked up the phone and it was the boss of Piangxing Film. Hello, is this Dong Yu? The other party's tone was not very good, and he continued after Dong Yu opened his mouth. You said it was not good for you to provoke someone, but you actually provoked Siawi Investment Group. I can't protect you now. Don't even want to enter the entertainment industry in the future. Also, you were fired by the company. That's all. Do. The other party hung up the phone after saying that in one breath, leaving Dong Yu's father and daughter confused. Did you provoke Siawi Investment Group? Dong Shiji looked at Dong Yu with a pale face. He knows Siawi Investment Group, an investment company with super large bills behind it, and is involved in countless industries. Not to mention that Dong Yu is just a star. Even the whole Piangxing film industry is a younger brother in front of Xiawei. Why did I offend that bullshit Xiawei? Don't you know who you offended? I was completely involved in your accident this time. Dong Yu had collapsed. She shouted at Dong Shiji. You kid, how can I affect you? Dong Shiji was even more confused, and his tone began to become unkind. I became like this completely thanks to a woman named Xiao Fengxi. She also asked me to bring you a message saying that your retribution is coming. How dare you say that you didn't offend anyone? Dong Yu covered his face and cried. Xiao Fengxi, I don't know the person surnamed Xiao at all. Dong Shiji thought he had offended many people, but there must be no one surnamed Xiao, and it's still this kind of person with a big energy surnamed Xiao. Okay, don't cry for the time being. Just take a vacation for yourself. Dad will have a press conference tomorrow and wait for my artificial gene. Start to sell big. The size of our family will skyrocket several times. Maybe this leap will become the richest family in Kyoto. If you still want to be a star, Dad will open his own film and television company to support you. Chapter 30 Catch Monsters. Artificial Gems. I haven't studied it yet. Dong Shiji actually wants to sell it. It can be seen how greedy Dong Shiji is. For the sake of money, he doesn't care about people's lives at all. In this case, Dong Yu has no other way even if he disagrees. However, she doesn't want to stay in a small county like Lee County. I will fly back to Kyoto early tomorrow morning. After saying a word, Dong Yu left. Dong Shiji also went back to the room. He loosened his tie and felt a little dry. Opening the refrigerator, Dong Shiji took out a bottle of red liquid. That's blood, not artificial blood, but real human blood. In fact, he has always wanted to develop a new version of artificial genes because there is an abnormality in his body. As soon as he took power over the Su family, He was found to have cancer. In the face of death and imperfect artificial genes, Dong Shijie chose the second one. In fact, he is also the second person to be injected with artificial genes after Su Nianwu. However, he will not stupidly suppress the genes of vampire bats with artificial blood. Since you want to drink human blood, why not drink it? He has money, and those poor people have blood. Isn't this mutual benefit and mutual help? Checking the amount of blood left in the refrigerator, Dong Shiji went to the basement. The basement is extremely hidden, separated by many small single rooms. Casually walking to the door of a single room, Dong Shiji pressed the fingerprint password lock. Pop! The electronic door opened, and a person slowly came out of it. Arrest 3 people. Dong Shiji gave an order and turned around to leave. The figure was also like a ghost, disappearing in the night in an instant. On the street of Lee County, the ward pig held a bunch of roasted leeks and ate Hengxiang. The boss asked him to catch 3 monsters tonight, which was an impossible task at all. WH. The ward pig who was eating roasted leeks suddenly saw a figure flashing in the shadow. His heart jumped and he quickly followed. There was not much time, and the ward pig came to a high-end community. The figure entered the location of the building king of the community, and the ward pig informed Li Jingyan by phone as soon as possible. Boss, I found a monster here. Let's improvise. I found two here. Li Jingyan's answer really made the ward pig a little speechless. He originally wanted to ask the boss to support him. Unexpectedly, the boss met too. Okay, boss, I'm starting to arrest you. Please be careful. After saying this sentence, the ward pig moved. However, as soon as he rushed in aggressively and was about to take action, something flew out. The ward pig dodged, and the thing hit the wall directly. Auntie, is this one conscious? Xiao Fengxi pointed to the monster embedded in the wall and asked. Su Nianrao looked into the monster's eyes and shook her head gently. Oh, then kill it. This thing is very harmful. Xiao Fengxi will not keep this thing for them to harm others. Don't, just leave it to me. The ward pig quickly waved his hand repeatedly. Only then did Xiao Fengxi see that there was a big fat man standing at the base of the wall. But this fat man looks a little familiar. What do you want this thing for? Xiao Fengxi's face sank and he asked coldly. Well, to be honest, I am an official. I'm going to go back to the medical school to study this thing. The ward pig really couldn't think of any other reason, so he just told the truth. Since you are an official person, you must have a certificate. Xiao Fengxi is very alert. This time, the ward pig is in trouble. His ID can't be presented casually. Like the boss, this is confidential. The ward pig became a stutter, and Xiao Fengxi couldn't help sneering. If you can't show the certificate, don't blame me for not cooperating. After saying that, Xiao Fengxi walked slowly to the monster. The moment he began to drink human blood, the monster was no longer seen. Xiao Fengxi raised his hand and waved his fist, hitting the monster's heart with a heavy blow. The huge punch directly shattered the monster's heart, and he died on the spot. Hahaha, I said why my little one went back one less yesterday. It turns out that you idiots are playing ghosts. The war pig was still sighing at the little girl's strange pow. And suddenly there was an evil laugh in his ear. Xiao Fengxi also followed the sound and saw a pale man in a black cloak standing at the wall. Xiao Fengxi has also seen several vampire movies, which are obviously imitating other people's character models. Well, I caught this. Don't take it from me. Seeing this, the ward pig quickly stood up, afraid that it was not his turn to do it himself. Xiao Fengxi spread his hands and took a step back. She looked at the ward pig and secretly sighed that he ate words, developed limbs and simple mind were not empty. Those unconscious minions are easy to deal with, but the one that just came is different. He can talk and do his own styling, and the anger on the body is obviously abnormally strong. Since this fat man is willing to be the first bird, Xiao Fengxi is naturally willing to sit on the mountain and watch the tiger fight. The ward pig didn't talk nonsense. He shook his arms and hit the man together. It's just that I regret this action, because he, who is good at strength, has been absolutely suppressed in terms of strength at this moment.